I think it worked. Hello, my fellow nerds. It's me, your boy Noah. We're doing something a little bit different today, if you can't tell. Playing Mario Kart because I have a competition in just a couple days in Florida. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, what do I need to do to prepare for this competition? I realized I haven't really played the game in who knows how long. Probably since the last time I had that competition. And so I was like, well, I need to get in, and there's been some new courses that I've dropped since then, and I was like, well, I'm gonna be spending like 5-6 hours playing the game anyways. I might as well just live stream it. I've never done a live stream before, really looking forward to it. We're just gonna be going through every single Grand Prix on 150. Maybe I'll stream again tomorrow and do like 200 mirror, who knows. I don't think the tournament format is a mirror, but they do occasionally do 200. I don't know. We're just gonna see. We're just gonna see what happens. I'm not expecting it to go crazy. I also don't really know. Live streaming is completely new to me, so we're just gonna hope it works out. If it doesn't work out, you know what? It happens. If it does, great. So let's just jump right into it. One reason I haven't really done live streaming ever was because I don't know. I mean, it's very different than making YouTube content, like long-form videos. For this stuff, I don't really have to... Well, I do have to kind of like perform, in a way. But for normal YouTube content, it's like, I can do whatever I need to do, I can take however long I need to take, I can split the videos up in between things, that sort of thing. It's just a very different environment, so I kind of have to perform for you guys, even though literally no one's watching me right now. That's okay. It happens. Also, it's telling me that the bitrate sucks. I'm plugged into the Ethernet, I might have to go in and fix that, but who cares? I don't think y'all are caring too much about the quality of the stream. You're just here to listen to me yap, maybe. And also, if you're coming expecting me to do Splatoon stuff, and you're like, well, what's he doing? This isn't Splatoon. The Inkling's on the screen, so that counts, right? I don't know. I don't even know if this will stay on the channel, like, after I record this. I mean, I'm not recording it. I'm not, like, saving it. If YouTube decides, well, it's going on your channel, alright, I guess, like, what can I do about that, you know? But yeah, let's talk about Mario Kart a little bit. So this is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, if you can tell, playing on the Switch. This game initially released on the Wii U, and I loved my Wii U to death and back. That makes absolutely zero sense. I was a big Wii U proponent when it first came out. I was in, what, like 5th grade? I didn't know what I was talking about. I just knew Nintendo was coming out with a new console. My dad told me about it. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm definitely gonna buy that. Like, I was a little kid. I had the money for it. Like, who cares? If I want to pay for a Wii U with my own 5th grade money, I'm gonna do it. And so that's exactly what I did. I bought a Wii U, and, I enjoyed my Wii U. But then I remember, like, Splatoon came out, and I adored Splatoon. Don't get me wrong. And that's still probably my favorite game, just in general. But I enjoyed Mario Kart from time to time, I completely missed that. That's embarrassing. But, like, I had Mario Kart DS, I had a DS, I had Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS, Mario Kart Wii. Was there another one that I played? I feel like there was. There was the app, but that didn't come out till later, so that doesn't count. So I fully expected, like, once another Mario Kart game came out, of course I'm gonna get it. Like, I want to play Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart. So, it had been a while. They hadn't really announced anything. Nintendo was struggling a little bit. Sorry, I'm making sure that my settings are right. I might be... I think it looks ugly, but can I fix that? Y'all, we're trying our best, What is the thing? You know what? That's fine. We're just gonna go with it. But yes, back to Mario Kart. So I'd seen, like, I'd played all the previous Mario Kart games. I enjoyed them. I wasn't crazy about them, like, on the Wii. I had the Wii Wheel. Who didn't have a Wii Wheel? If you were a kid and you didn't use the Wii Wheel, like, did you really have childhood. It's debatable. But, used a Wii wheel, and my parents decided not to tell me that I was holding it upside down. So I got really frustrated with Mario Kart because I was like, the car isn't going where I want it to go, you know? It's so stupid. Like, no, you should be, like, how old was I? 5, 6? Of course I didn't know, like, how to hold a wheel. I was an infantile, who cares? So I got frustrated with Mario Kart. I didn't really care for it. And then I saw my sister, she had Mario Kart DS. And I was like, whoa, she has the DS one. That's crazy. Like, how do I get my hands on that? I need an item. Thank you. And so my parents were like, oh, we'll go get you Mario Kart DS if you're really interested in it. I'm like, yeah, of course I'm interested in it. Parents, come on. And they drove me to GameStop. They're like, well, here's a cheap version of Mario Kart. And it was Mario Kart DS, but it was pre-owned. And the person who had it previously had just completely demolished the entire game. Like, they had everything unlocked, all the secret characters. Like, there essentially was no use for me to do anything because everything was already done for me. But I still played it a lot. I remember the mission mode. I had no clue what a Rob was. I thought Rob was really cool. That might have been my favorite character at the time because he was just so different than everything else. So I thought that was cool. Useless information, I know. So I had an okay time with DS. I had a decent time with. And then the 3DS came out, and I like the 3DS one. Mario Kart 7. What'd they do? They added underwater and air stuff. Like, that's like staples for the game now. You can't, like, I can't really even imagine this game without those things in it. So that's cool. Yeah, I mean, Mario Kart 7 was really cool, and it was nice having like a high quality looking Mario Kart game on the go. Like, I wasn't smart enough to know what a resolution was, or like, oh, this is on a smaller screen, so even though it's running at a lower resolution, it still looks better than a big 720p game blown up on your TV, right? Or was it 480? See, I'm not any better now. So I enjoyed Mario Kart 7, but it kind of left a lot to be desired. Like, the tracks were awesome, and I played the game a ton, but like, it didn't have a mission mode. Where's my mission mode? Oh, I want the mission mode. I thought the mission mode was so cool. How'd the banana get there? We're on the first lap. I don't even know. And no, I still liked Mario Kart 7, don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed it. And then, out of nowhere, we found Double Dash. That was the game I was missing. We found Double Dash used at a GameStop. And actually, I think one of my friends let me borrow it. And then I went to go buy it at GameStop. Because Double Dash was so unique. You had two players on one cart. You could swap between them, use the items and all that stuff. I thought that was so sick. I was totally into it. And it was something that my sister could, like, co-op play with me. She wasn't a big fan of playing against me, because she knew I'd always win. You know her. Oh gosh. Oh wait, watch this! I wasn't fast enough. That would have been so cool if I got the mushroom speed boost. Oh, I would have popped off. Anyways, so Double Dash was really cool because my sister could play with me, but there were, like, only, what, 4 cups in there? Can you believe Nintendo got away with that? There's, like, absolutely... There wasn't no content, but golly, like, looking at this game and then looking at that game, it's kind of crazy how we survived on that. Double Dash was awesome, though. I really enjoyed Double Dash. I think the most I played was probably the Wii one, either that or the 3DS one, because I was in the car a lot. I just wanted to play Mario Kart, you know? And so, having it available mobily, not like phone mobile, but like handheld, there we go. That was way cooler in my opinion. Like, Wii was great, and I loved playing Wii when I got to the house, but oh my gosh, I'm in the car, I can play Mario Kart. All that to preface, Nintendo eventually announced, I didn't react in time. Okay, well, we can save ourselves from that. Where was I? Yeah, Nintendo finally announced Mario Kart 8. This big bombastic trailer, and like, people were going upside down, and the graphics were absolutely gorgeous. I was just blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, this was what Mario Kart was meant to be. This is beautiful. Ugh. Excuse me. And I was totally into it. I watched that trailer a ton. And eventually, what'd they do? They had a, like, demo that you could go try out at GameStop. And where I lived, there were 2 GameStops nearby, and the one that was really close to my house didn't have the demo. I was like, well, that sucks. But the one that was far away from my house did. And I wasn't able to drive at the time, so I was like, Dad, you want to drive me to go play Mario Kart on the demo? And he was like, yeah. So he drove me to the GameStop to go play Mario Kart on the demo, and I was in love. I played with Larry. I don't know why I played with Larry. I think it's because he had blue hair, and none of the Koopalings were in the games previously. So I was like, oh, it's a new character, look at that. Looking back on it, and thinking about the original Mario Kart 8's roster, like, it's honestly shocking that I played with that character. I mean, now the Inkling's out, like, who else am I supposed to play with, you know? So, played the demo, absolutely loved it. The game was just drop-dead gorgeous. Probably still I would say the best-looking game on the Wii U. Maybe sans Xenoblade X, but I never played it. Wow, that's embarrassing. I never played Xenoblade Chronicles X, but I just recently saw footage of it, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty blown away. It was pretty good looking. But that's good looking in like a faux realistic, trying to make the world look really big. Like, this is a gorgeous, cartoony, like bright colors sort of game. If that makes any sense. I mean, of course it makes sense. I don't know why I used that coin. I did not use the coin. Need to use the coin. Absolutely in love with the game. It was so much fun. And so I go out to buy it, and at the time there was a thing called Club Nintendo, which is now My Nintendo, which is significantly worse, just in terms of the rewards you get. But for buying a ton of games, you get a ton of points, which you could use on physical merchandise. So somewhere I have a Nintendo tote bag that I bought from all the Wii games that I cashed in a couple of the Wii U games. But in order to try to increase sales of Wii U games, they held an offer specifically for Mario Kart where, okay, if you buy Mario Kart, you can get one of these games for free. Which, in retrospect, makes absolutely no sense. Out of all the games that you're going to give away a free game for buying, it's the one that people were probably going to buy anyways. So I picked up Pikmin 3 for free, and I played like an hour of it, thought it was interesting, but didn't really get into it. Not really important. But yeah, I sunk a ton of time into Mario Kart 8, the original, on the Wii U, and it was very, very solid. I was very happy with it. Still no mission mode. That's not like the biggest deal. I kind of wish it was in the game still, because most of the time you're either playing the normal game or battle modes. And if you wanted to play battle in the Wii U game, sorry to say, it kind of sucked. Battle mode was not good. And I personally didn't care for battle mode at all, because I knew my strength was in Grand Prix. Like, that's what I knew. That's what I was good at. So I didn't really care for battle mode at all. In fact, I play with my cousins. Would play Mario Kart with my cousins occasionally, and we'll play like one Grand Prix, and then he just gives up, and he's like, "Okay, let's play battle mode because I know I can beat you in that." Like, you're so right. You can definitely beat me in battle mode because I suck at battle mode. But the original battle mode in Mario Kart 8 was atrocious. The way they had it, I can't remember if they had a specific set of tracks or not, but they were tracks that were already tracks in the normal game, which is not great, but if you reworked them with the same assets, you could make it work, right? They did not do that. Nintendo opted to just put the tracks into the battle mode, unedited. So imagine you're going in a big circle trying to hit people or do coin runners or pop their balloons. It just, I don't know what was going through their minds. Like, the game was fantastic. Played like a dream, looked absolutely gorgeous, the music, elite. But the battle mode, which was a staple in all the other games, was just non-existent. Non-existent. I mean, not non-existent, like, it existed, but so poorly, like, why would you even want to play it? And of course I never dabbled in battle mode, but hearing people complain about that, I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, people actually care about battle mode? That's crazy. Am I gonna laugh? I think Baby Mario is about to get sniped. I'm gonna do everything in my power to hit Baby Mario. But, so battle mode didn't exist, and people were upset about that. I didn't care, whatever. Game was fun, game was really well done. I messed up. And, you know, I was happy. It served me. I got to use my Wii U for something productive. um, which the only other thing I really used it for was Splatoon. So I was happy to have a game on it that I could enjoy. And yeah, and so that's kind of how Mario Kart 8 started. And then the DLC came out. Well, first they started with Mercedes-Benz cars. Gang, what are we doing? Mercedes-Benz? Out of all the... I don't know, man. Like, why Mercedes-Benz? Like, I know they make cars. Like, obviously, I'm not stupid. But, I don't know, like, maybe you'd get, like, a sports car. I mean, this is a... I don't... When I think of Mercedes-Benz, I do not think of, oh, I'm going to be racing this car. Or I also don't think of, okay, I'm in a cartoon game racing karts with animals and turtles and worms and people from other universes. Like, my first thought isn't, well, where's the Mercedes car? Like, where's my GLA? Well, I'm missing it, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was very odd, but I thought it was also really cool. It was like, oh my gosh, a real-life car is in Mario Kart. I thought that was interesting. It didn't really go anywhere. Like, who cares? Who cares that a real car's in the game? Like, I just want to play the game and have fun. And I guess people might have been, like, this was during the age of DLC, you know, like, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 would come out. DLC was fairly common. A lot of games would get, like, extra stuff added by the time the game was over. I don't think this was quite to the reign of live service games, especially like they are now. Please give me iframes, thank you. So the live service model wasn't fully fleshed out at that point, but DLC was pretty common. You could get DLC for games you were interested in fairly often. And Nintendo finally jumped on the train. There were some, like, New Super Mario Bros. 2 courses that were DLC, which, looking back on it's kind of insane, but, like, what do I know? Ooh! I could have cut through there, but I was too nervous. And so Nintendo started to dabble in DLC, and beyond the Mercedes collaboration, is that a collaboration? Like, Mercedes didn't do anything on their end, I don't think that counts. The Mercedes cars came out, and they were like, oh, yeah, and here's some new tracks that we're going to come out with. I'm like, oh my gosh, new tracks? That's awesome. Not only that, if you bought the pass with both of the sets of tracks in them, so a total of 16 new ones, you would get colors for Yoshi and Shy Guy immediately. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna leave a little dramatic pause there. Does anyone care? That's not true. I was honestly really hyped for it. I was like, oh my gosh, I could be light blue Shy Guy. My dream. I ultimately didn't care that much, but at the time it was really cool, and you could play with them immediately. So when you paid, what was it, like 13, 14 bucks, honestly a steal for that much extra content, you got to play with the new colors early. Well, not early, but oh my, no, okay. I actually have a vendetta. You're dead. Thank you. It's not going to be pretty for you, baby Rosalina, let me tell you. Oh, almost snuck by. We got 10 coins, so we'll be fine. I haven't been talking about the races at all. This is just kind of like muscle memory. I'll get around to that. So they had DLC of the game, and I'm honestly pumped. Like, the new courses look really good, and they were really good, and they were all really high quality, and some of them I liked arguably more than the original ones. So very happy about that. Star Cup is still the best cup in the game, even with the DLC. Sorry, y'all. It's just the way it be. But yeah, I mean, game was fun. They added the DLC. Really enjoyed it. Got use out of my Wii U. Great. All right, so that's all said and done. And then what is it? 2017? I guess 2016 at the time. They released the trailer for the Switch, and I am enamored. I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks awesome. It was the best of both worlds. I was a huge fan of multi-purpose things, so like Transformers, I wasn't really into Transformers, but I like collecting them because it was fun to have them in car form, and then I could transform them into the human, like robot form, not human, duh. I thought that was cool. There was a pillow that I had that was like a as seen on TV pillow, but you could like invert it and use it as a backpack, or like the normal pillow form was like a backpack, but it had a zipper that you could store stuff in, or you could invert it and use it as like one of the travel pillows that you put around like your neck. I just really liked 2-in-1 kind of things. Like, shampoo and conditioner, or shampoo and body wash. I don't do that anymore. I treat my hair well. Don't worry. But 2-in-1 stuff I was totally into. So when they announced the Switch and they're like, yeah, you can play it at home, or you can play it on the go. I'm like, this is the best. Because my 3DS is great, don't get me wrong. But man, wouldn't it be so cool if I could play Super Mario 3D World and not Super Mario 3D Land on the go? Like, Super Mario 3D Land is still a fantastic game, don't get me wrong. But that was just the idea that went through my head. It was like, I want better quality stuff on the go. But it was good that they still supported, you know, at-home stuff, because I don't think people would be nearly as interested in it if it wasn't also a home console as well. That's just me blabbing, but I watched that trailer a ton of times, and in that trailer, along with Splatoon 2 stuff, yes, the Splatoon guy, talking again about, yeah, Splatoon, they had the Mario Kart 8 stuff. I was like, oh sweet, Mario Kart 8's coming back out, awesome. Or maybe this is just like test footage, and maybe they'll have like a new Mario Kart, or maybe they won't have Mario Kart at all. Stupid, like, never believe that, and I should have gone on the inside. This is wasting so much time. Oh, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Alright, yep. And there we go. That was kind of smooth, I'm not gonna lie. But the Mario Kart 8 trailer for the Switch was ever so slightly different. Like, there was King Boo in the background, I think was the big thing that like, made people question things. Like, what's going on here, gang? Like, why is that there? Oh, no! I'm crazy. And where was I going with this? Yeah, so the trailer basically revealed that some new form of Mario Kart game was going to be coming to this new console. So people were hyped. But it wasn't like a new form of Mario Kart. It was just, you gotta keep in mind, the Wii U did not sell well at all. Like, what, 14 million units? I should get that, like, tattooed on me. I should not. But it did not have that many. The install base was pretty low, especially considering it was a Nintendo console. Like, the Wii was a massive hit, kind of a craze, some would say. The Wii U was the complete opposite, essentially, and didn't have the install base that the Wii did. Didn't have, you know, like, people just weren't really talking about it. Like, the games looked good, and there was a lot of quality, and Nintendo really treated the people who bought a Wii U, they treated them very well, priced the games well, made them cheaper eventually. Like, if you were a Wii U owner, you were getting pampered. But that didn't, like, defeat the fact that it was not really that usable. Not necessarily. It's tough to say that. Like, it was usable. It's just the gimmick of having a screen in the controller, and it was really big and bulky, and didn't have battery life that lasted more than like 3 hours. That's not good. And the general public can't really get behind that, you know? Like, for the Wii, it's easy. You got motion controls. The Wiimote just made sense. Like, people would use TV remotes all their life. Not true, but for the past couple decades, like, they had known how to use. This is absolutely horrible. they had known how to use a TV remote, so no problem there. So the Wiimote just feels, you know, natural at that point, which is great. And so then a lot of people who bought the console, you know, they already knew how to control the thing just intuitively. And, you know, Wii Sports is just swinging the dang thing. That made it easy, so people who never touched a video game in their life, they kind of got it. You know, it's like, okay, swing the remote like a baseball bat. Okay, yeah, that's easy enough to understand. I can grasp that. And so that, like, people got it, but the Wii U, on the other hand, was none of that. Like, at all. It didn't even get close. You had this big, beefy controller that felt great, the whole, don't get me wrong. And honestly, if you used it well, like, if the games promoted it, I messed up the timing. If the games used them well, which most of them didn't, it was cool. It was a really cool and novel idea, and I liked it. Like, in Splatoon, you could look at the map, and when you got an ink strike, you would, like, place it on the screen. I thought that was really cool. Just small things like that I was totally into. And it just didn't resonate with the general audience, so it didn't sell very well. So all that to say, people were totally into the fact that this Mario Kart game that was essentially stuck on a console that no one wanted to buy was coming to something that, you know, might have mass appeal. And I was excited because I loved Mario Kart 8, and I thought the game was gorgeous, and being able to play it on the go was absolutely insane because the only other game, like the most recent Mario Kart game that you could play on the go, was the app, if you count that, and Mario Kart 7, which is great, but it doesn't really hold a candle to this game. Like, it was very innovative in the way that it did track design and stuff like that, but beyond that, it was kind of just like another Mario Kart game, and that's okay. But having this game on the go was going to be absolutely incredible. And seeing people play it in the car, like, that was so surreal to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like growing up. This stupid high-quality game I'll be able to hold in my hands in the car while my parents are driving to who knows where. Like, we could be going on a big family vacation, and I got my Switch with me, baby. I was so excited, so I was like, Mom, Dad, I gotta pre-order this thing. And they're like, we don't really know what pre-ordering means, so we're not gonna let you. Which I guess makes sense, but like, what are we doing, guys? I keep saying gang, I don't know why I say gang, but I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, okay, well, they won't let me pre-order it, but I mean, surely it won't be like the Wii U. Like, I had to wait, what, a month to get the Wii U after it released, which is crazy. Yes, the Wii U sold out, can you believe that? And so I just assumed, like, oh, well, they'll stock it well, like, surely. And then they didn't. The thing sold out. Like, if there's a new Nintendo console, just expect it to sell out. Like, they know supply and demand so well. It's just not even... You, like, just think about Amiibo, and, like, half the Amiibo that came out were so hard to find. So that just ramped up the people wanting them way more. And so they know, Nintendo knows supply and demand. And I'm sure that the successor to the Switch, which has been announced to be real, officially, which is a blessing, because it's been, what they say, like 9 years since the Switch was announced. That's not true, but since like the NX was announced to exist. This is not good at all. Okay, we're back. Where was I going with all that? I don't even remember what. I just blanked hardcore. I apologize. But we're gonna start. Okay, so the Switch comes out. Yeah, I can't get my hands on it for basically a month. And when the poor minimum wage worker at Walmart heard me like scream on the phone when he said, "Yeah, we have one in stock," I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, they had just gotten a shipment. He said like 15 minutes before I got to the dang Walmart. So yes, I bought my Switch from a Walmart because I didn't pre-order it from GameStop. Crazy. I'm now an adult and can manage my own money, and I will for sure be pre-ordering the next one. I don't give a frick if Splatoon is on it or a good Mario game is on it. Sign me the frick up. But yeah, the Switch came out, I had to wait a month, finally got my hands on one, played Breath of the Wild, absolutely phenomenal game. I didn't really get it though until my second playthrough, so now I totally get it, like, dang, this game's awesome. Not perfect, really freaking good though. So, I mean, if you haven't played Breath of the Wild, I'm kind of shocked, but yeah, definitely give it a shot. And if you're like, Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, honestly, like, you could flip a coin, and both of them are going to be really solid. Like, Tears of the Kingdom is super ambitious, and makes the first game kind of feel like just a blueprint. But there's something so novel about the first game and the way it works, and, like, I don't know. I really enjoyed my second playthrough of it, and then I started playing Tears of the Kingdom basically, like, right after. I replayed Breath of the Wild to get ready for Tears of the Kingdom. And I love Tears of the Kingdom, don't get me wrong, but it just didn't quite hit the same. And maybe it's because I kind of burned myself out on it because I had played Breath of the Wild right before for probably, what, like, I don't even know, 40, 60 hours, more than I had already played the game for. Put a lot of time and effort into it. And, like, I still love Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't even finished it, though. Like, it's almost been a year since that game's released. It's actually coming pretty close. I don't know when it released, but it'd be pretty close to a year. And, man, I don't know, like, it just didn't have the same. as Breath of the Wild did. But Breath of the Wild also didn't hit the same until I played it again. So, you know, maybe one day when I get really bored, I'll start Tears of the Kingdom again and hopefully fall in love with it. Wow. See, this is the reason why I'm doing this, so I get the timing right and realize that I'm not as good at this game as I used to be. But yeah, so only like a month after the Switch comes out, and then like just like maybe like 20 days after I bought one, they were like, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it actually has a battle mode, and it has all the DLC included for free and some extra characters. I'm like, I mean, yeah, of course I'm gonna buy it. Like, are we shocked? No, not really. So bought that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This game's gonna be so good. Little did I forget that it was still the game that I'd already sunk probably who knows how many hours into, at least 100. I'd basically already played the game before, and yeah, it was awesome. Like I played in the car or wherever I wanted, like in the hotel room. I remember being in Dallas at the time, and I bought the game at a Dallas GameStop because we were at a family trip, and I played it in the hotel room, and I was like, this is so cool. Like, I would have never been able to do this beforehand. And yeah, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. But in my mind, I guess I was expecting it to be like a completely new experience. But it was just a portable version of what I'd already played for so long, you know? So it doesn't make it bad. In fact, this is the best Mario Kart game. Like, I don't think anyone's really contesting that by any means. But I don't know. I guess I was just expecting more, and I shouldn't have been expecting more because I knew going into it that this was going to be basically the same game, just with battle mode. I wasn't disappointed. I was just confused. I think that's a good way to put it. So, I was hoping it'd be better. I messed up. But it's all good. And it's bugging me that the stream isn't at very high quality. I apologize for that. Not like anyone's watching right now, so who cares, but but yes, what was I saying? So yeah, the game came out really good, but it just like didn't scratch the itch that I expected it to. Which again, it was foolish of me to believe that it would scratch any itch that hadn't already been scratched by the game on the Wii U, other than the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm playing this on the go. I mean, yeah, which is, it's still incredible to me that I could just take my Switch out of the dock right now and go walk outside and play this game. It's honestly surreal, which sounds stupid that I'm saying that, but like seriously, this game is really impressive, and having it portably, especially in 2017, like that was insane. Like, you had the PS Vita, or PlayStation Portable, I don't know which one was second. But that was basically it. Like, that was high-quality games, but they were all different, you know? Like, you had the mainline games on the PlayStation 3, and then it would come out on the Vita, or the Portable, I still can't remember. I think it was the Vita. And, like, they would, like, have a similar title, or, like, a similar property. Like, it'd be Ratchet and Clank, but it's just Clank, you know? Like, they'd have to do something to downsize it so that it would play portably. But for this, it felt like, oh my gosh, all these Wii U games that I could only play at my home, now I can play them on the go. Not only that, they're supplying the console's really high quality, fun games that I really enjoyed. So, I thought it was, I was like blown away, and I was still young at the time. How old was I? That was 2017. 20 now. Wow, big shock. It's actually the biggest shock of all time. What the heck? So 26, 17. I was in what? 8th grade, maybe 7th, 8th grade. That's probably like, I could literally do the math. The thing's 7 years old about, and yeah, so about 13, 14 years old. Yeah, I was still blown away. Like, I was a young teenager, but dang, this thing's sick, you know? So I was totally into it. And then, yeah, it kind of remained, like, I played the game, I 100% completed it, quote, unquote, like, got gold stars on every single cup, and every single, like, speed, including 200cc, which I did not like on the Wii U version, but they actually made it way better on this one. And hopefully, eventually, I'll get to play the 200cc cups, but it's going to be a while. Like, we're 3 cups down, 30 minutes in. Excuse me. And there are a total of, what, 16? 20? Might be 20. I don't know. Where was I? Yeah, let me get this one loaded up, because my brain's not working. I'll go more into, like, my loadout and stuff, eventually. It's kind of, it's an interesting story. So, time goes by, and there's a esports organization that specifically works mainly with high school and collegiate level esports. They are called Play Versus. Definitely check them out if you're in high school and are looking into maybe starting an esports group at your high school. Great people, great company. Not sponsored, but I had been doing some esports stuff at my high school for a while, just like managing and like setting up live streams and things like that. And that was what games did we play? League of Legends, Smite, and Rocket League. The only game I had any experience in was Rocket League. And I thought Rocket League was a cool game, but I didn't really take it seriously. Like, I'd see all the people doing these crazy techs and stuff and just have no clue, like, what's a musty flick, or what's a flip reset? How do I even perform that? So I wasn't really interested in playing any of the games that they offered, and so I didn't. But I still wanted to be involved because I thought esports are awesome and playing video games for competition. I didn't consider myself very competitive, but having an excuse to play video games in school, yeah, sign me up, man. So I did that for a couple semesters, and then they announced Smash Bros. For the service, which is crazy because Nintendo, like, never ever, like, collaborates with stuff on that sort of level. And Play Versus, like, High School Esports League was the other option that we could have had. And, you know, they had, like, Call of Duty and Rainbow Six Siege and a little bit more mature games, but our school district was like, oh, yeah, you're not going to be able to do that. No guns. And so I was like, well, okay. But they announced Smash Bros, and I was just kind of blown away, because I was like, in no way I thought Nintendo was going to ever do that, ever. But they did, and I was like, okay, sweet. So I joined the Smash Bros team. That was, I guess, my junior year, fall semester, spring semester, actually. We got top 8 in the state, which I was pretty happy with, because I didn't really take Smash seriously. Like, anytime I played Smash Ultimate, or any Smash game for that matter, I had more fun clicking random than actually learning how to play one character specifically. So, I didn't really care for Smash, but I still played it because I wanted to be involved in the esports team. And I was one of very few people who actually wanted to, like, play the game, and I was half decent since I just put a ton of hours into the game. So did that, got top 8, pretty happy. Next semester, joined again. I think we got top 8 again. So didn't do very well. I mean, that's still pretty solid. Like, making top 10 in the state of teams. It's not a solo thing, it's team-based. All the games are team-based, except for men and 2K, which they added later. Not important. And I was just totally into being on the esports team, even if it wasn't my number one preferred game. I was totally into it. And then news comes by, I think it's winter break, or probably before that actually, and they're like, hey guys, so since Smash was such a success, we're doing Mario Kart and Splatoon. And I'm like, holy frick, the 2 games that I played the most are about to become esports. That's great. I was so stoked. And so they announced that, and I was just like, I'll be on a team. I don't care who I recruit for this team. Like, we will have teams for Mario Kart and Splatoon. I can play on more than one. So I played on all 3 Nintendo games. Like, I played Smash, which I didn't really care about, as I mentioned. I didn't put a ton of effort into getting better. Like, I'd still, like, play the matches and do my best. And I learned to main Inkling. Go figure. And but I was like, Mario Kart, Splatoon, like, that's the dream. And I knew Splatoon was gonna be a tough sell because, like, if you could name me anybody in the school, in any school that plays Splatoon, congrats, because that's rare. No one really played Splatoon, no one really knew what Splatoon was. That banana jump is sick. So I didn't expect to do very well. I didn't even really expect to get a team, in all actuality. But you know, we rally, we come through. I got teams for both of them. We poured our hearts out in those competitions. The way my senior year was set up, I had like 7 classes total, and 5 of them were computer-based classes that I was so far ahead in, and were taught by the same teacher that I could just play esports the entire time. So I played a ton of Splatoon, a ton of Mario Kart during my senior year in school. Again, if you're interested in an esports team, definitely look into it. You might be able to get some video game playing in school. I did, and I enjoyed it a ton. Did that make me a great student for college? Anyways, moving on. So esports gets announced, we get a team. Splatoon team is just kind of a ragtag group of guys who were essentially participating with me on the other teams. I don't know how, like, I don't really say people's names, so I'm not going to. Actually, I am. Forget it. They won't care. So JT, who's my ride or die, redhead, great dude. He just kind of played video games in the free time. He got a Switch because it was kind of the big thing. And he had never played Splatoon before, much less, like, even owned it, I think, at the time. But golly, I begged him. I was like, dude, like, I want to make this team happen. This is, like, my one game. Like, please, dude. And he's like, alright, we'll do it. So, he gets Splatoon. Nathan, also, JT was on the Smash Brothers team with me. So was Nathan. Nathan, awesome dude. He had played Splatoon before, and he had seen me play, or like talk about it, and so he was kind of interested, and so he got in. We played before the season came out that, you know, esports would start, and I was just like, hey yo, you wanna like do this? He was like, yeah, I mean, I've played Splatoon before, it's probably better than most people who are gonna sign up for this. I'm like, yeah, no, seriously, not even wrong. And so he got him, and then Emmanuel, who was best known, he was I think our best, he's our best Smash Bros. Player, and he was awesome. I love Emmanuel, and he hadn't played Splatoon before, but he was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. So he played Splatoon with us, and actually, I think he enjoyed it. JT, he told me once the competition was over, he was like, I'm simply going to delete this game from my Switch, never touch it again. And I was like, alright, that's fine. Oh, wait. Did we get... Okay, I'm sorry. I think there's someone in the stream, so welcome. I've been talking to myself for 30 minutes, so it's good to have someone, but I can't, for some reason, look at my stream chat. Where do I do that? Hello? I'm sorry, this is completely new, so I apologize. I'm going to keep going just so I don't disrupt the flow. You might be in the chat, you might not be, but very happy to... Oh yes, OG Red, hello. I finally got it figured out. It's good to see you, dude. Yeah, what was I can't remember. Oh, I was talking about my esports, so I'm going to keep talking about my esports, because why not? So... They announced Mario Kart and Splatoon, and we get into that, and JT like doesn't really care about Splatoon, but none of them really cared about Splatoon other than me. Like, they had played it before, and so I was like, oh my gosh, I want to play this. But then Mario Kart, like, everyone's claim to fame. Like, if you ask someone, and you're like, do you play video games much? And they don't, they will probably say, oh, I'm cracked at Mario Kart. And most of the time, they're fine. Like, this is gonna sound really pretentious to me, and I don't mean that whatsoever. But a lot of people who say that they're really good at Mario Kart played the Wii game for a really long time, and, you know, that's great. I think, I love the Wii one, and everyone kind of played the Wii one, and so that's fantastic. But I don't know. I just found that a lot of people bluff. Like, actually, my calculus teacher in high school was like, "Oh yeah, I'm crazy at Mario Kart." I'm like, "All right, last day of school, I'm gonna come in here and we're gonna play Mario Kart together." And we did. I absolutely smoked her. Sorry, Miss Hardcastle. I know you're not listening, but so that was crazy. But everyone on the team was like, you know what, Splatoon? That's like everyone kind of gave up on Smash at that point, and Splatoon was just kind of a second thought, you know, like, if we happen to do well in Splatoon, great, because who else in Arkansas who's going to be able to play Splatoon really well? Basically no one. So we definitely put Mario Kart first. That was the main plan, and everything else would just come second. So we spent most of our days, instead of like going to class and actually being productive students in high school, no, we sat down and we grinded out Mario Kart. And the way the format worked, it was very interesting, because the games had to be team-based games. They were like, well, how do we do... Because team-based Mario Kart, they do it on the Wii, but that's like a very niche group of people who have, like, revived the scene, and they're, like, hardcore diehard. And, like, the Mario Kart competitive scene doesn't really exist. Like, Splatoon, you can argue that, yes, people play Splatoon competitively, there's competitions. Mario Kart's... Like, Nintendo hosts Mario Kart tournaments, but they aren't nearly to the level of the Splatoon ones that are hosted. Like, most of the Splatoon stuff is just, like, I don't know, grassroots people doing stuff themselves. It's not Nintendo hosted. Like, they still have Nintendo World stuff, but not nearly the... Like, Mario Kart's not even close to that, right? And so they had to completely come up with this random rule set for it was honestly crazy. They came up with this random rule set, and they were like, well, we need them to be team-based games, which they later went back on because they added 2K. You can tell I'm very passionate about this, but they're like, okay, it's got to be team-based. Like, all right, it's gonna be team-based, let's do it. And it was 4 people, so 4v4. All items were on 150, no computer, and that made very specific, intricate parts of the game stupid important. So, like, when you look at the way scoring works in a normal Grand Prix, you get like the 15 for the first place, and then what, 12 for second, something like that. And you know, you're like, well, I'm just shooting for the big 60 at the end. You know, I want to win all 4, look good. But the way, like, obviously all your points are split between the 2 teams. And the way that the points worked for 8 players was slightly different. It wasn't 15, it was like 10 or something like that. And, where am I going with this? So, the points were like 10, 8, blah, blah, blah. And so we did the math and figured out, oh, wait. If you win first and second, it literally does not matter what your other 2 players get. You're gonna end up taking the win. So we just had to get first and second every single time. Didn't matter if the other 2 people absolutely sucked it up. Whatever. And so I wish I could go back to my Wii U. It's in a storage unit somewhere. But I don't know how many hours I had in Mario Kart 8 before the Switch version came out. The Switch version came out and I 100%ed it. And I was like, this is it. We are going to be cracked at Mario Kart. So the game plan was we just needed first and second. So I adopted the bodyguard method. And if you ever get into Team Mario Kart 4v4, the chances are extremely low, but hear me out. The bodyguard method, your whole goal is to make sure that first and second win, right? And so you aren't inherently item bagging, like in Mario Kart Wii. In the competitive scene, you'd have someone like completely tank their placement, send the bag, get really good items, and use them strategically to harm the opponents, right? We didn't get to that point because we knew that everyone was good enough that anyone could be the bodyguard. So the bodyguard was second place, and whoever was in first place, your whole goal as the bodyguard was just to make sure they didn't get touched at all. Like, you were going to be cannon fodder inevitably, but then if you got hit, hopefully one of your other teammates would be able to sneak up with some decent items from 5th and 4th place, take second, and continue to bodyguard first. So I was almost exclusively, what is going on? I was almost exclusively in first place just because I had the game basically memorized at that point. And I knew all the lines. I worked really well with this cart combo. This is where this cart combo came from. I played Inkling because Inkling Splatoon, I'm a big Splatoon guy. And then I did the Comet bike because I liked the jet bike, but it was really hard to control. And so this one had a similar color scheme that I really liked, and it matched the shoes on the Inkling. Yes, I chose this bike because it matches the shoes. It's actually not, like, completely inviolable. There is a Mario Kart meta, but it's pretty loose. Like, you can do the Rosalina teddy bear roller cloud glider if you really want to. They might actually use the Animal Crossing glider, but I didn't really care. It was more about sending a message, like, I'm not using... At the time, it was Waluigi Wiggler, but I wanted to send a message, you know? Like, I want you to know that I can do whatever I want to do. Yes, the game is really balanced out, you're right. You're completely right. But I wanted to, like, A, look good, and, like, I still ran roller wheels because they matched. This is not, what's going on? But I wanted to, like, look good and play something that, you know, was a bit unorthodox, and so that's what I did, and I ran this kart combo. And one of my favorite memories, we were in one of the races, and everyone kind of had their kart combo. So JT was running Biddy Buggy with DK, and he liked DK because DK dabs in one of his like trick animations. I was like, JT, we gotta work on that, but I should have saved that. Anyways, and then Emmanuel, what did Emmanuel do? I think he was Shy Guy, and then Nathan just copied what I did because he really liked inside drifters, and I'm a huge proponent of inside drifters. You can tell me all day that they are not as optimal. I know that they aren't as optimal, but man, something just feels good about taking those sharp turns, and the way you play the game is slightly different, so a lot of people, if they're like, oh, well, he's been getting first place every time, let's just copy his team loadout. And so one of the schools that we went against, they're like, man, we're losing, like, they got the 4 bottom places consistently every time, so then the next round starts, it's like 4 races, and then you regroup, best of 3. On the second round, after they had gotten utterly demolished by the team, they were like, well, he's in first place, and he has that kart combo, and Nathan is consistently getting second or third, and he has the same kart combo. It must be good. And so they all copied our kart combo. I mean, it's still mine. I claim it as mine, even though Nathan used it. But they copied the kart combo thinking, oh, well, this is gonna make us win. And then they did worse. Because it was an inside drifter, and none of them were ready for an inside drifter. I love that story so much, but I don't think I think I went to bodyguard for the most part. Yeah, just protect first, second place would be cannon fodder, and we just adopted that strategy, and it was really effective. Because everyone on the game, like, everyone on the team was skilled enough that they were able to get to second place, or sometimes even get to first place if it got blue shelled or zapped, or really, like, something unfortunate would happen. So, yeah. And so, I would usually consistently say first, and then they would all rotate in and out of second place, and we just demolish. And it wouldn't matter what what the other 2 players got, because, like, you had enough points to, I think you would get 20 points total minimum, and the opponents would get 18 maximum. And so you just end up winning. But I mean, sometimes it was just like a complete sweep, because we had pretty solid people all around, and we would almost always get first place. That would change at the end, but we haven't gotten there yet. So the normal season is going absolutely fantastic. We don't have a single issue with any people, and it gets to playoff times. You know, they give us the tournament bracket. They're like, okay, here's what you gotta. Did I hit someone with that? I did. I hit Inkling Girl. What the heck? They're like, okay, here's the teams that you're going up against. Your number 1 seed, so you're gonna go up against the number 16 seed. Good luck, all that stuff. And so we're playing in the tournament, and it's all digital. Like, we didn't go anywhere to play it, but, like, that's bad timing. We just absolutely demolished the first game. We absolutely demolished the second game. Third game, absolutely demolished. Like, up until that point, we had gone flawless, and it's time for the finals. And I can't remember what school we went up against. I probably shouldn't say it just for privacy's sake. But I don't even remember. And they were, I think, also undefeated, excluding when we beat them in the regular season. And so, like, we were fairly sure that we had it in the bag. But, you know, we still had to be careful. Like, maybe they they saw, like, we recorded all of our stuff. I think it's still on the internet somewhere. I should do that would be so cool. I should do a reaction video to the finals, because I think it's my point of view too. I haven't gone back and watched that. That'd be sick. But anyways, and so for the finals, it's best of 5, and each of the 5 is like 4 races, so you just have to get more points. And so the first one we win pretty easily. Bodyguard tactic worked great. Second one we win. It was starting to get closer. You could tell that they were kind of figuring us out. Kind of knew how to like take us out. Like they would just like hold good items to a blue shell or a zap, and then go off of that. Also, something really interesting about playing teams: if you throw a red shell, it will not target your teammates, but will instead go down the center of the track until it sees an enemy. So we would have to call out, okay, we're throwing a red shell, it's going down the middle, get out of the middle. Okay, we're throwing a blue shell, get out of the middle. Like, if you threw a blue shell and you were in first, it would just, like, and your teammate was in first, it would just go for the first place of the other team. So if the red team was in the lead at third place, it would go for them. Anyways, not important. So there was a lot of, like, teamwork that had to be had, and, like, a lot of good communication, like, okay, I'm going to throw a shell, get out of mid. Or, where's my bodyguard? Does my bodyguard have decent stuff? Sometimes we'd even cycle bodyguards, so if JT was sitting behind me bodyguarding, and he was like, okay, I have absolutely junk items, I was like, okay, I've been hoarding items, I got good items. Then I would trade out with him, and then, you know, walk him, all that stuff. You get the drill. I'm gonna go for the shortcut. I never make it because I'm inside. Oh my gosh, we barely made it. I'm not sure if I'll risk that, but anyways. Man, I'm saying all this stuff, I haven't even gotten to the reason why I'm streaming in the first place, but we'll get there, we'll get there. And so, the third round is, we're mad chillin'. Thank you, OG Red, I was very impressed by that. By that. I should not have made that. Anyways, what was I saying? Okay, and so, the second round going well, we just need to secure the third round. That's all we need to do. And we're doing well, and then some of my teammates are placing super well, and I'm not consistently staying in first anymore, and we're kind of struggling. And so we end up losing the third round, and we're like reminded, oh my gosh, this isn't like a guaranteed win, like there's a chance that we could lose this. And so I was like, okay, we need to definitely figure this out. If we want to win this, like, we can't adopt a defeatist attitude yet. Like, there's still a chance. We can still do well. And so, it's the last round, and they decide to make a really risky play. I don't think they had done this the entire season, but they intentionally had someone bag items. And for the bodyguard technique, you couldn't have someone bag items because you needed everyone to be ready to bodyguard whenever you needed them. And since there are only 4 people, you can't really sacrifice one of them to make sure that they can bag items. So we just had to make sure that we were all playing. But they decided, okay, this dude is performing the worst. We're going to sacrifice him, essentially, send him to the back, and he's going to cycle all the good items. In theory, you think that'd be good. That lost them the game. Because they were missing out on one person to contest with the 2 people that would usually sit in the back. Like, the bodyguard and the front runner would be at the front almost all the time. And so then that means your bottom 2, they're just gonna be doing stuff, trying to catch up, and make sure that they're ready. When you sacrifice one of them to be a bodyguard, or to be an item bagger, you're losing, like, with 4 people, that's a quarter of your team that's essentially useless unless they get a decent item, which they were already getting anyways because the dude was consistently doing poorly. But I'm not saying, like, item bagging, like, oh yeah, they're you know, they're just kind of like driving, they aren't performing very well, they're just driving and staying in the back because they aren't as good. No, like, they would sit in the same item box and bag items. I don't know why. They patched that out recently. You can't do that anymore. Thank goodness. It may, like, what's the saying? Like, don't try anything new on test day, or don't try anything new on game day. I burn out. Of course I did. they tried something new on game day, and they lost because of it, and it's just insane to me. I don't know what convinced them. I mean, I kind of get it. Like, if your teammate is doing bad consistently, then you might as well guarantee that they're getting bad items, or good items. But also, they were doing so bad that they were already in last place anyway, you might as well just use them to contend against the other team. Just a little bit. That makes way more sense. And so they sacked a dude, essentially, which gave us enough points. I have the video somewhere of me thinking that we lost the second round, or the fourth round, thinking we were going to have to go to a fifth. And we won by, like, maybe, like, 5-10-ish points. So a decent margin, but still, like, way less than I thought we would. And at that time, we never dropped a round. Ever. And so it was kind of insane that the first time we had dropped a round was in the finals, and so we were kind of freaking out. I've hit that twice now. We were kind of freaking out, thinking, this could be really bad. But no, I mean, they decided, yeah, you know what? We don't need you. Just go bag items for us, and that's what lost them the game. Crazy. I talk more about the Splatoon one. I feel like I should. I mean, what else am I going to do? I'm going to be live for like another 30 minutes, so who cares? The Splatoon final is honestly a really funny story. So, again, none of us had really put that much effort into Splatoon except for me. I was the only one who really cared. I was big into Splatoon, but I didn't really take it seriously. Like, I never really did ranked, because I always had a hard time doing ranked because it was hard for me to figure out, like, oh, I'm not as good at this game as I thought I was. Like, Mario Kart's the one exception, because, like, I'm half decent at Mario Kart and can beat the average player. And when I'm, like, in my zone, I can usually do, like, I'm playing okay. I'm definitely not playing as well as I used to. But the goal for me is just to refamiliarize myself with the track, so not as important. Anyways, Splatoon I had put a lot of effort into, and that was like my hyper fixation. I was really into it. And I really wanted to... I wanted to win. Like, if you enter a competition, of course you want to win, right? And so I had trained my butt off, and my teammates just weren't quite to the same level as I was. Of course, that's going to happen. I had, what, like 300 hours in the game at that point, and I had an extra 100 hours that semester. And they had just played for, you know, like 20, 40, which is still, like, really solid, but there was a lot of stuff that we didn't know. Like, no one knew how to substrafe, no one knew how to, you know, like, team comps. Like, I watched a Pro Chara video, and they were like, okay, you gotta have, like, an anchor, strikers, and then a helper, or I don't even know. And I was like, okay, sweet. I'll be the anchor since I know how to play ballpoint swatling, and that's really good right now. Nathan, you'll be support. That was he played NZAP because he really liked the NZAP. And then I just had JT and Emmanuel be cannon fodder and play striker. And the point of striker is mainly to just go attack and distract, and then anchor most of the time would complete most of the objectives. And the way that Play Versus had, oh my gosh, there we go. The way that Play Versus had Splatoon set up, it was best of 5, and you'd play each of the game modes, including Turf War, which for the US scene made no sense. For the Japanese scene, a lot of people play Turf War like that's normal. But I was not used to it, and we hadn't really practiced Turf War that much. We usually just played League Battle to practice the other modes, because we sucked at Clan Blitz. Oh my gosh, we were horrible at Clan Blitz. But yeah, it gets competition time. We're in the finals again after some really close matches with some other teams that were really good. Well, okay, we were like every single team in the league was fairly mediocre in comparison to like where the professional scene was at. But I mean, of course, we're in high school, and like these people are college, out of college. We're devoting a ton of time to it. So like I couldn't really be mad, but I definitely felt like we were missing something. Clan Blitz is horrible. You're completely right. It's out of all the modes in Splatoon, it's like they make sense. It's like you have this big grenade launcher, take it to the end. You have this tower, take it to the end. You have this zone, make sure it has your ink on it. Okay, now you have to get 10 clams in Splatoon 2. 8 now. And they're scattered around the map, and you can pick them up and throw them, and 10 of them makes a football, which you use to break the shield, and then you can throw clams to the shield. Like, once you play it for a little bit, it makes sense. But if any new player is like, oh, what's Clan Blitz? How do I even go about telling you what Clan Blitz is? How do I, what do I even say to you? Like, basically there's a football, and you gotta throw the football. Well, that just makes no sense. Anyways, little side rant, but that's besides the point. Oh, music part. This map bangs. Yeah, football, but worse. I completely agree. Like, I'm not like super sporty. I rode horses for competition, but yeah, football, but worse. I completely agree. But yes, so each of the game modes, we had to play that for play versus, including Turf War. And until then, our team comp had worked pretty well. I think Emmanuel ran Kinza Blaster. I think there was just a Kinza Blaster, something like that. What did JT run? He was an Ink Brush main. JT, oh, I love JT to death, but golly, he was very stubborn. He did not believe me when I said that motion controls were optimal, and like, it's definitely worth it to use motion controls. And like with Ink Brush, you can make an argument that it's not nearly as important. But I mean, Ink Brush in competitive is also, that sure is an option. Definitely not in the meta for sure. And then I ran Ballpoint because at the time Ballpoint had just been nerfed, but it was still really solid. I really like Splatlings, and having a short range and a long range mode. You could ink, you could splat people. I like that. But anyways, we get into the finals of the competition. Turf War's up first. We're on Humpback Pump Track. That's the only one that I remember vividly because it's the funniest one. And we're losing basically the entire game until like the last 30 seconds. We wipe the opposing team, and we're like, this is our time. Get inked down. And then by the end of the game, I don't know what possessed me. I should have just let that hit me. I don't know what possessed me and told my team to do this, so I was like, we're good. Just chill. Because my nerves were like really high. And so I was like, we'd stop inking, we got it. You will never guess. We lost that game by 0.1%. Oh my gosh. That is probably my favorite esports memory. Like, yes, we won the championship for Mario Kart. We got rings, we got a trophy and all that stuff. But the 0.1% is so comedic. Because when you see that in the normal game, you're like, oh, that's funny. Like, just like one bomb would have changed that. But in competitive Splatoon, we lost by 0.1 in Turf War. Yeah, that was crazy. So that was funny. I thought that was hilarious. We then proceed to win the next one, lose the next one after that, win the next one, and then we lose to Clan Blitz because we had no clue what we were doing. Like, I knew how to do Clan Blitz, but I didn't really know how to do Clan Blitz. Like, what was the effective way to do Clan Blitz? So, mad unfortunate. So, every time we bring it up, it's like, oh, yeah, we lost by 0.1%. We lost the championship. Which, in all actuality, isn't necessarily true, because the loser got to choose the map, so then we were able to choose maps that we were really strong on. So if we had won the first one and then had to like play on a map that we weren't as good at, there's a decent chance that we wouldn't have won it. But still telling people that you lost by 0.1%, like, that's hilarious. JT and I will still bring that up. We still play PlayStation together occasionally. And it's like, yep, we lost that by 0.1% somehow. So, fun little story there. But yeah, that's play versus, and so that's why I got into Mario Kart like a ton and knew that I was semi-decent. And I'd play online. I don't even know what my online score is. I should check after this. My online score is honestly insane. I think it's like 10 grand at least. It might be higher than that. Just because I played so much online to get ready. And online's a completely different beast in this game than, like, I haven't really had an issue in any of these races. I'm only playing 150. But it's like, it's crazy. There's so much more strategy to the game, and especially when you used to be able to item bag, and then the new maps are crazy. Play versus, like, esports was nothing like that. Thank goodness, because I wouldn't have known what to do if people were, like, bagging for Zap and Bullet, and, like, they knew all the Bullet extensions and all that stuff. Like, I know the one on Cheeseland, I think. That's it. Give me triple banana, thank you. I'm saying a lot, and no wonder. It's because I'm live streaming for the first time. But, you know, so esports went well. I found myself playing a lot of Mario Kart. And once esports was over, like, I didn't really have a reason to play Splatoon. I didn't really have a reason to play Mario Kart. And so I was mad chilling. And so my skills kind of lied dormant for a while. I picked up Splatoon again when Splatoon 3 came out. But last summer, I went to a little college thingy called Summer Conference. And they had competitions there throughout the week where you try to win points for your school. If your school won the most points, they give you like a free meal out or whatever. I don't even remember what the reward was. And my campus minister was like, "You'll never guess," because I of course I'm gonna brag that I won the Mario Kart State Championship. I got the ring, all that stuff. And they were like, "You're never gonna guess, but they always have a Mario Kart competition at this conference." I'm like, "Well, sign me up, baby. Like, you might as well just put my name on the roster. I'll be there. I'm gonna win for us. It's gonna be great." And so I went. And the way that's what I'm training for right now, because I'm gonna go to that conference in under a week. So I'm making sure I'm prepared for it. But honestly, the story for the conference is hilarious. I'm gonna check and see what my score is. I can't even remember. Am I connected to Wi-Fi? I should be. Yeah, just a little bit above 10,000, 10 grand. I played online a lot. Anyways, so the way it works at summer conference, it's at the beach, so it's hot and humid. That doesn't matter at all. Like, who cares? But what's the next cup? Oh, I already played Star Cup. I've been on autopilot like this entire time. But the way it works at Suko, there's 5 rounds because so many people sign up. Like, over 100 people signed up to play the game. And so there's over 5 rounds, and it's like tournament style. So you play with 3 other people, excuse me. And your goal was to just beat them. So for the first few rounds, you had to get... there were four groups. First few rounds, you just had to get first or second place. And then in the semifinals, you had to get first place to move on to the finals. And so then, went to the finals, no problem. It was actually weird the way it worked. The first round was in 50cc. Second round was in 100. Third round was in 150. You would think, there's 5 different modes. They would do mirror for the 4th one, right? Nope, they didn't. So 150 for 2 of them. Thank you, Boo, for stealing my coin. And then the last one, which was comedic that they even went this far, it was in 200cc. Now, in esports, they didn't care about 200cc. 200cc was just kind of a joke that we do to have fun. And actually, there was one time where we beat a team so badly that we finished like 30 minutes early than what we were scheduled to do. We were like, "Do you guys want to play 200cc for fun?" And they did, and it was hilarious. We had so much fun. So thank you to that team that actually, you know, I feel bad for a lot of the other teams because it was just like known that we were absolutely demolishing everyone else. Sorry, gang. That's, you know, that's just what happens when you're so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah. So the way the tournament was set, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, it sucks. This sucks so much. Okay, thank you. That might have been optimal, honestly. But I lost so many coins. I gotta go get more coins. Where was I? So yes, I completely wipe the first 2 rounds, no problem, easy peasy. And then the last round comes by, and they announce it's 200cc. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Before then, I had trained a ton in 150. I wanted to ensure I won. I didn't want to be the guy who's like, yeah, I won the state championship for Mario Kart, so I'm gonna win us the thing, no problem, and then lose, you know? So I spent like the entire time, it was in Florida, that was like, what, a 12-hour drive. I spent like the entire time playing Mario Kart, just making sure I was ready. I didn't need to. I was definitely way over-prepared, but who cares? I'm over-preparing now, might as well. Like, what else am I gonna do? It's done with finals, like, I'm done with finals. I have time, who cares? So, I do... Where was I? Okay, so it's 200cc, and I hadn't trained at 200cc at all. I just assumed it was going to be 150 because that's the way that they did in esports. But, you know, it's like, it's just this competition that they had for fun. They didn't have to go by any of the rules if they wanted to. So, like, yep, it's 200cc, and all the people I was going up against, they were all, like, really nice, really cool people. They were, like, average. Hello, Ricardo. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining the live stream. And so it was 200cc. I hadn't trained at all, and all the other dudes were really awesome. But I could kind of tell that they weren't on my level. You get it, you know. You understand. And but it was 200cc, and I hadn't practiced with 200cc at all. And this kart combo is not bad in 200cc by any means. But it, like, people, I don't know. It's kind of tough. Like, it's good, but 200cc, you're gonna be braking a lot. You'll be braking a lot anyways, but you can often make turns way better with outside drifters if you plan them right. And since I was not ready to do 200cc, I was completely thrown off track. I was like, this is gonna suck. And so I've played 200cc before. I've 100% completed the original cups on 200cc. Great. But I was like a little nervous, admittedly. So it's a best of 4 point values. So like first place gets like 5 points or whatever, and then second gets 3, 2, 1 respectively for the next points, or the next whatever. And the first map, I can't even remember what any of the maps were, but something primal unlocked in me, and I absolutely, like, they were solid competitors, but I was operating on another level. Like, I don't even know what took over me. It was incredible. It was quite the show. And so for the people who showed up, and I feel horrible for this, they're being very toxic for no reason. And I love the dudes I went up against, but my friends from college and acquaintances, they decided it'd be really funny. Okay, once Noah passes the finish line, they would count how many seconds it would take for second place to get there, which is incredibly BM, like bad manners to the nth degree. That's so mean. It was kind of funny, really mean though. And I think the worst one was 13 seconds. There was a 13-second difference between me crossing the finish line. I think that was Bowser's Castle, Mario Kart 8 Bowser's Castle. There was a 13-second difference between me crossing the finish line and second place getting there, which is pretty insane. And so I would like, yes, 13 seconds, OG Red. It was this map right here. I played this map on 200cc, and they counted to 13 by the time that second place got there. And it was not to say that the other people were bad, but I'm telling you, man, something took over me. It was absolutely incredible. Look at that invincibility. Oh, those iframes were clean. And I'm definitely gonna get hit by the fist. That sucks. Okay, I always go the right side. That's fine. Anyways. So yes, 13, half a map, you're absolutely right. And I think the thing that messed people up was that section back there with the curvy roads. Like, you were going so fast, it was really hard to stay on track. And like, I had really good coin conservation, so I was like almost always operating at 10 coins. They were too busy beating each other up, so like basically none of the items hit me. That's one of the interesting things about competitive Mario Kart. If you can get in first place, and you can kind of maintain your lead, even a blue shell can't really stop you. Like, people are going to be hitting each other so much, and if you conserve items well and make sure you have the right amount of coins, you'll be fine. You can block enough items, you can tank enough hits. Depending on the map, you can use iframes to... Do I make this? Yeah, I make this easy. You can use iframes and items to make sure that you make it out okay. And so that was basically how that went. I was so far ahead that they were too busy throwing items at each other. It just wasn't even close. So my plan is to hopefully run it back again this year, and I've been bragging about it. I won't lie, I don't get an ego about much, but Mario Kart is definitely one of those things where I feel like I have the right to brag, just a wee bit, But I'm hoping to run it back, and I think that was the only competition my college won the entire week, which is a little depressing. Like, we had a really good volleyball team that got beat out by, what, Florida? No wonder, like, they play volleyball. But I was pretty proud. I had the one competition win. I had like the 1 point. They shouted out my name at the big session. They were like, "Noah won Mario Kart," and everyone like literally held me up. It was quite the honor. So yes, the goal I'm going to race these maps and just refamiliarize myself with them, because it's been probably since last summer when I did that competition that I played the game. And I want to make sure I'm ready beforehand because I won't be on a charter bus this time to practice on the bus. So I will be like I won't have time in the car, like I'll be driving. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but you probably shouldn't play Mario Kart and drive at the same time unless you're driving in Mario Kart. A little wordplay there. That was not intentional. I apologize. But yes, so that's the goal, and I'm pretty familiar with all these maps. Like I'm telling all these stories and racing these, and I know most of the lines. Like it's not like 100% like I'm going to win a actual tournament like skill level. I'm not quite there, but I'm to the point to where I know the maps well enough that it would take a seasoned veteran to take me out. And I mean, I have so many hours in this game across the Wii U and this one. The one thing I am genuinely concerned about, some of the DLC maps are wacky. Like, even the ones from Mario Kart Tour, which I did play for quite a while, they're just so odd. I don't know. I mean, okay. I'll preface by saying that they're really sick. And I love the city maps because they offer, like, every time you go through it, it's slightly different. Look at that iframe save. Let's go. They're slightly different. So, like, Tokyo Drift is really cool. The Big Apple one's really cool. I like them a lot, but they're also really tricky because if you aren't prepared or you aren't looking at the map or you don't know ahead of time, if they choose that map, you just kind of got to know it. Like, I think it's not New Donk City. I think it's, like, just New York or whatever. But the way they have it set up, there's one segment of the map that you go through normally, and then on the next lap they completely block it off. And if you try to drive through it, instead of like bumping you like it's a normal roadblock, they instead hit you with the Lakitu or Lakitu. I'm leaving a little bit of silence because I don't know why they would do that. That's particularly rude. It's like, imagine I bump into this wall right here, and instead of me just bumping, Lakitu picks me up. I don't know. Also, the maps don't look nearly as good in the DLC. I don't really care. They play fine, and I have these maps that look absolutely gorgeous, so it's not like a big deal. And the fact that they doubled the amount of maps, I don't care. I'm fine having an extra, what, 48 maps or something like that? 96 total. You just tapped me right beforehand. I had 10 points. Come on. So, yeah. So, yeah, the goal is just to get through everything on 150cc, mainly to remember how the maps go. There might even be a few that I haven't played yet. And then maybe eventually, like, I'm not going to stream tonight for, like, 20 hours to make sure I get through everything. I'm just going to go maybe to, like, 1 or 2 Central Time. It's currently 11:46. So maybe, like, another hour and some change. We'll see how I'm feeling. Like, again, no finals. I can kind of just wake up whenever I want, so I'm fine staying up late. Oh, credits. I forgot they rolled the credits. Yeah, we're going to skip that. But yeah, just going through the maps. And then if I have time, maybe tomorrow I'll stream. We'll see. Again, this is something I've never done before. I'd like to do 200cc. We'll see. We will see. That'll certainly be interesting, but honestly, I could just go 200, like, all the way right now. It just doesn't make that much sense. Like, like 150, you get a good feel for the map, and you know, you get practice like running lines and stuff like that, things like that. OG Red, yes, please stream more. Well, thank you. This is again something I've never done before, but I was actually talking to my mom. This is the third time I burn out. I'm not. You're seriously the best player in Arkansas? Like, okay, sorry guys. That's on me. Where was I? Yes, my mom was like, so are you gonna train for Mario Kart? Because like I kind of have a legacy now. And I was like, well, yeah, absolutely. She was like, are you gonna live stream it? I was like, I should live stream it. That's such a good idea. Out of all the people to give me advice, I meant to throw that forward. Whoa, okay, Toad, come on, man. Show me some respect. Thank you. Out of all the people to come up with that idea, the fact that it was my mom, that's pretty hype, honestly. And so she was like, yeah, just stream it. Like, if you're going to be sitting down for, like, 6 hours to play all these tracks. You might as well. Yeah, fair enough. Like, what would I do otherwise? Like, let's do a YouTube video in the background? I don't know. And this is good experience. Also, YouTube's not listening, so I can say this. I love YouTube. I think YouTube's the best service to do stuff on, personally, including streaming, because I think, I don't know, Twitch, just the way that they handle some things and the way that they handle their people, it's a little sketchy. Like, you're just kind of seen as a number, at least from what I've seen. Like, I mean, everyone's seen the YouTube short with Ludwig saying, oh yeah, when I told Twitch I was leaving, they said, okay, bye. And that kind of resonated with me. Like, I don't know who, I don't, like, personally know Ludwig, but it's like, dang, I want to be treated like a human. So, I just decided to post on YouTube. Like, I don't post any of my stuff to TikTok or Instagram, even though I have some banger shorts that I would hope would do numbers, but honestly, Splatoon content on other platforms, it's really niche. There isn't real, like, some people stream Splatoon on Twitch, and they get decent numbers, but I don't know, I feel like YouTube is definitely one of the best places for, like, niche communities, because on Twitch, it's like, okay, well, look at all these, like, 100,000 people are streaming League of Legends right now. Okay, great. I don't really care, like, what if I'm interested in Splatoon instead, or what if I'm interested, like, I play Marvel Snap a lot, and, you know, not a ton of people are streaming Marvel Snap. Twitch doesn't, like, they have a harder time pushing stuff for you personally. It's more just like, okay, this streamer has the big number by their stream, they have a lot of people. Also, some of their policies I'm not a big fan of, in regards to, like, adult content and things like that. They're definitely not the worst. Like, Kick, oh my gosh. Just seeing some of the stuff that happens there, like, I would not want to be associated with that. But YouTube, for sure, like, YouTube's different because, okay, I like this person that they've recommended to me based on the stuff that I've watched recently. Alright, I'll subscribe to them. Okay, because I subscribe to them, this other person who plays this game, or has similar, like, editing styles, or similar type commentary, okay, yeah, let me watch one of their videos. Okay, I really like this, I'll subscribe to them. And then you can kind of, like, build your own portfolio of content that you really like. And, I think that's great. And so, I follow some Splatoon people on, or subscribe on YouTube, and it just feels different, you know? Like, it feels a lot more of a community here. And the big names like Prochara and SRB Dude, you know, they're on YouTube, that you don't really find that, like, you'll see them on other platforms, but their content isn't being made specifically for those platforms. Like, it's YouTube first, and then we'll get around to it if we want to. And so, where do I even want to go from this? So I was like, yeah, absolutely YouTube. And then in my head I was like, well, no, I'll never do YouTube Shorts. I mean, I don't know why I didn't want to do YouTube Shorts. It's honestly a horrible mistake, because YouTube Shorts is great for exposure. I'm not a huge fan of short form content, mainly because I get so sucked into it so quickly that I'm just like, okay, well, I just spent 2 hours on TikTok, and it felt like I've been sitting here for 10 minutes. That's probably unhealthy. And I honestly prefer long form stuff, because, like, you think of the people who are, like, really good at editing things. I'm sure I could bring up a ton of people, but, you know, like, you follow people on YouTube because they're unique and they have their style and their sort of thing. And that's great. And I love that. And that's why I like YouTube so much. And I think long-form content definitely shines through that the most, because the way that short-form content works algorithm-wise, it's like, you have to keep people's attention, and so then you have to put more editing into it. And so I love high quality, high editing prowess content. I think that's great. But when it's forced, it definitely feels all disingenuous. Maybe that's the best word. Like, the intention isn't, look at this awesome edit that I made, it's so good. It's, okay, I have to hold your attention, and so I'm going to do the scummiest stuff possible to make sure that you stay through the entirety of the video. Like, come on, man. It's like, top 5 things that absolutely happened. Be sure to stick around for number 1, because this thing really, really happened. Yes, OG Red, it turns into brain rot real fast. Absolutely, man. And, like, you look at YouTube Kids, and yeah, it's brain rot too. Like, because, again, if you want to make a living off of YouTube Kids, which yikes, that's kind of weird. No comment on that, but your goal, again, is to make sure you hold the attention. But for, like, YouTube, you can develop a community of people who are just like, well, I really like the way you edit things, or I really like the way you talk about things. Like, it's not like, oh my gosh, I just want the instant dopamine burst. That's why I like long-form content, because it allows people to shine a lot more, and, like, I know the people that I like who make long-form content, and even if they play a game that I'm not really into, like, maybe a YouTuber that I watch plays a game that I've never heard of, I'm way more inclined to give it a shot. If I'm already subscribed to them, I already know who they are. And then maybe that turns into something really cool. Like, you don't have to play the #1 trendy game. Like, you don't need to play... What's hot right now? Helldivers was big for a sec. I don't know what the big stuff that people are really playing right now, but like, you get what I mean. Like, maybe they'll try out... Yeah, I don't even know. I have no clue. But they'll try it at a different game that I've never heard of before that I probably wouldn't play myself, but it's like, okay, well, this is actually really cool, it's really insightful. Like, that's how I heard about Hades, which just got the second version, which is in, I think, early access right now. And apparently people love it, but I watched the first Hades through a YouTuber who played it that I really liked, and I was like, I didn't even know what a roguelike was. I was like, this is sick. And same with Binding of Isaac. I was like, I would probably never buy Binding of Isaac, and it's so intricate, but I know so much about the game just because a YouTuber that I like likes to play it. Or there's this game called Noita, which is, I guess, technically a roguelike. Roguelikes are very fun to watch on YouTube. Pokerogue is going big right now, now that I think about it. But, where was I? Yeah. So, Noita is like this, what, Finnish game? Swedish game? It's, like, not even from the US, and I would have never ever in my life heard about this game. And he plays this game, and it's like my favorite thing to watch ever. Your whole goal is to make like these wands, and you can like customize how these wands work, and you can like mix and match the wands that you have to make these really busted things. And like the way you could set it up is like, okay, I have this wand, and when it shoots a projectile, that projectile gets turned into a nuke. And it continues to do that. So the projectile that I'm going to initially shoot is like this bubble blower thing that would inherently do nothing. But because it has the turn bubbles to nukes spell on it, it just goes crazy. And I love that. It's just hilarious. I like roguelikes a lot. I think Side Order was awesome. Was it the best? Probably not, but I mean, for the first time that Nintendo's ever done anything like that, and it was in Splatoon, like, I still go back and play Side Order every once in a while. I still need to 100% complete it, but very fun. And I played Moonlighter for a little bit. I heard about that because of a YouTuber. Again, long-form content, you know, I stand by that. So that was cool. What are some other ones I played? Dave the Diver came out very recently. And Dave the Diver's really cool. I played on Switch. So that's cool. Like, ton of options. They're only getting better. And when people are figuring out... But eventually some big corporation's going to get to it, and they're going to add a ton of microtransactions, and then it's going to be some live service game that everyone's going to be like, oh, this looks hype. And then it's just like, well, all of the fun got sucked out of it. Yeah, I love Noita. Red Riot Ross. Okay, I'll have to look into Red Riot Ross. And Noita's so cool. I don't think I could play it. Mainly because... So, I have a PC. Like, obviously, how would I be streaming this otherwise? Like, yeah, it's off my phone. No, not actually. So I have a PC. I have a really nice laptop, too, for college. But I have such a hard time rationalizing playing games on computer. Because I will say, I'm not a huge fan of keyboard and mouse. That might be a hot take. Even for FPS games, I just don't care for it. My hand just cramps up when I use it. It's weird. And so, if I have an excuse to use a controller, I will. Secondly, PC games are so tough because there are so many ways that your PC can go wrong. Like, the other day when I was recording my next Splatoon video that's going to come out, I'm sorry it hasn't been uploaded, finals and stuff. I think that'll be out Monday. Hopefully I can get that edited in time. Oh my gosh, we gotta go through the freaking credits again. There we go. That video, I had so many mic issues. I had mic issues the video beforehand where it was like a constant hum. And I spent like almost an hour trying to figure out why my mic was having issues. I think they're fixed now. If you guys can hear, like, a very heavy background hum, I am so sorry, that means my mic is still busted. I think it's an OBS issue, or I thought it was an OBS issue, but then I tested it out tonight before I started live streaming, and I was like, well, is this gonna work? And, like, in all the recordings, yeah, H3 vid, yes, exactly. The H3 vid, I had mic issues, because first, my computer, like, reset the volume of it, so it, like, I guess after I updated the computer, it reset the volume of my mic, so it was really quiet. And I noticed in OBS that it was really quiet, and tried to fix it on the fly, but it's still really quiet. And there was another Splatfest video that was also really quiet, which is really sad, because I got probably one of the funniest moments of Splatoon ever. I bumped someone with the tent umbrella off the map, and I love that. But the clip is always ruined by the fact that my reaction is so quiet in comparison to the background music. I was so upset. I think the mic's better now. But, I mean, it's just some cheap Amazon mic. Like, I don't have, like, a Blue Yeti or I don't even know what good mic brands are. I should probably get a better one, but... I mean, this one does the job. And I think what I want to do is record my voice audio separate. I should have ran one of those bananas. I'll record the voice audio separate through, like, Sound Recorder or whatever on PC, and then Premiere, which is the software that I use to edit, it has a really good, like, voice modifier to make it sound like, you know, you're in a really like, really low reverb room, and your voice is, like, it, like, stands out, all that stuff. It's really good, but you can't do that because I record my audio, like the game audio and my voice audio on the same track. So if you try to do that, it just tries to take out the music in the background. And, like, I love Splatoon music. I've talked about that a million times. I want people to be able to hear the Splatoon music. Like, yes, I want you to remember that this stuff is half decent. Like, I know we make fun of it a ton, but so why was I going through mic issues? Yeah, I had mic issues. I don't remember why I brought that up. Gosh dang it. I think I was saying all this stuff. Yes, YouTube's a great place to stream, or a great place to, like, do content, do short form content. I like short form content a lot more now because it gives me a way to, like, reach a wider audience. Because, like, people aren't really gonna see your videos unless they see your videos. You know, like, it sounds paradoxical, but, like, if it appears in the recommended and that looks interesting, sweet, I'll click on it. But, like, you will scroll through at least 10 times the amount of videos on short form than you would if you were watching a long form video. So your chance for exposure is way higher. And I've seen quite a bit of success in a lot of shorts, which is awesome. A couple got, like, a few thousand views, which is, like, unreal to me. That was awesome. Actually, my most recent one, which I was really happy with, got 10. Which was just the lowest amount. It's crazy how that stuff works. But yeah, but all that to say, when I wanted, my mom told me to do the live stream. I was like, great, I'm gonna do it through YouTube because I don't want to do it through Twitch. And, like, Cake doesn't even enter my mind. Like, I'm not gonna be like, man, should I stream on? Like, no, that's not even a thought. And, like, Cake also isn't really meant for video games. That's not the intention. It's just for all the either really popular people to go do stupid stuff on, or for people to do borderline illegal stuff. Sorry, you can sue me, you can find me. I don't think Cake is gonna be on my butt about, like, oh, this is defamation from the dude with less than 100 subscribers. Like, okay, yeah, I don't have hardly any money to my name, and the stuff I said is not inherently false. So, whatever. For the crackhead streamers, amen to that, OG Red, amen to that. And, like, every time, I try not to get involved in internet drama. Like, sometimes I'll watch it, or something, like, blows up out of proportion, and then I happen to see it, like, okay. But 90% of the stupid stuff that happens, it feels like it's always on Cake. Like, yeah, this person set off fireworks in the room. Like, alright, what? And, like, now it's just so common that people just don't even talk about it. Like, I don't even know how many counts of copyright infringement are happening on Cake, like, right now. It's probably a lot. It's probably too many to count. Oh, yeah. But yes, I was starting my live stream, and it was like, alright, you have to wait 24 hours to start your first live stream. That was tonight, at like 10:30. Like, excuse me, what? 24 hours. And so I go look at the little support page that they give, and it's like, yeah, you need to verify your account, which I had already done, because to post videos that are longer than 15 minutes, you had to verify your account. And yada yada yada, all this stuff. And it's like, yep, and you gotta wait 24 hours to stream. I was like, why? Like, I requested access to stream was what it said. I was like, that is crazy. I don't know. I mean, I guess I just assumed that I'll magically be able to stream whenever I want. It made the most sense to me. And so, I was just really confused. And what a COD. Yes, people do use Cake to avoid terms of service for sure. And I can understand that to a certain degree. Because, yeah, if you want to play a game and then someone gets over voice chat and says something horrible, or, like, you accidentally show your screen and, oops, you were looking at something you shouldn't have been, and now it's on the screen, or you want to play Cyberpunk, and you want to play Cyberpunk and do everything. Yeah, I get that for sure. There's definitely a lot of things, and there's some things on Twitch terms services and YouTube terms services that's like, are we really going to be that specific? Like, I don't know. But yeah, YouTube was like, yeah, you gotta wait 24 hours to stream. I'm like, that is crazy. That's so sad. Because I'll be leaving for the beach to go do this competition. I mean, obviously that's not the sole reason I'm going to the beach, but it's like most of it. But they're like, wait 24 hours. How could you even do this to me, YouTube? I thought we were so close. Like, we were homies. You send me emails like every week telling me that my numbers are down. Like, come on, man. And so I refreshed the page and was like, okay, how do you want to live stream? I'm like, okay, I guess my 24 hours are up. I don't know why they did that. I mean, it's probably to prevent, like... Well, okay. I still don't get it, because they made you verify your account, so it's not like... I could get it if they made it to, like, make sure that bots weren't constantly using up YouTube's resources. So that makes sense, right? But, like... My account was already verified, so you knew I wasn't a bot. Like, my phone number is on my YouTube somewhere. On my YouTube account, at least. I don't really understand why we need to do this, but it let me in anyway, so that's great, I guess. I really wanted to live stream, and I never really had the urge to live stream because of there's a lot more effort that goes into live streaming for sure. And I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, and I probably mentioned it again, but we'll make it the third time. There's a lot more that you have to do when it comes to live streaming, in terms of like. You kind of have to be on the clock constantly, you know, you need to be talking, you want to keep people engaged. It's not like a TikTok brain rot, like I need you constantly looking at the screen, I need you to make sure that you don't swipe away, but it's more of like okay, people are tuning in to enjoy this, and like, you need to be talking, right? I think I've been doing a decent job, been talking for nearly 2 hours straight. It's pretty good, honestly. But yeah, all that. So I was very hesitant at first to live stream, and also it's like I like editing stuff down and making it look clean, and adding a little flair to it. And here's a little secret insider thing: 1,000 subscribers. I think that's when I will add a face cam to my video. I'm not scared of my face. I just want, you know, I think there's a healthy like face reveal moment. So I don't want to do like a dream, like keep 13 million people waiting. And then they look at your face and are like, well, that's not what I expected. So I think 1,000's fine. I think I look rather dashing, but you know, I gotta give people a reason to subscribe, right? But yeah, and so live streaming was kind of a tough sell, but I mean, in this scenario, it's just like I'm just donking around having fun. Like it's very low commitment, and like I know that there are gonna be like 20 trillion million viewers watching and waiting for me to make a mistake. Like it's just like we're just here to have some fun and watch me do subpar Mario Kart, right? That's the point. Okay, OG Red, give me a sec. I'm currently in the tricky part of the track. I will read that in just a sec. Okay. Really good to keep the conversation. Oh, thank you. And Dreamface reveal is so bad. Yes. Like, what could I say about that? I mean, of course, first of all, you should not be interacting with children on a personal level. Like, as a YouTuber, this might get subjective. I know. It shouldn't, but I guess when you get big and your target audience is like underage, that's okay. I mean, I don't expect any of my viewers to be, like, 50 years old. But, you know, like... Okay, I think I'm making fun of Dream for probably... I'm not making fun of Dream. Don't be a pedophile, that's what I'll say. that's my outlook. Don't let the power get to you. And yes, I'm holding that true to myself. I will not be a pedophile. Thank you. Okay. He wasn't a bad-looking guy. Was it? Also, wasn't that disproved? I don't think Dream was that bad of a looking dude either. But when you get such a big audience, the natural tendency is like, oh, I want to go against the grain and dislike this dude. And for, like, some people, they've managed to escape that. So, like, you look at Mr. Beast and he's just so big. It's like, even if you don't really care for what he does, you still kind of got to respect it. And he's still doing, like, philanthropic stuff. But for someone who plays Minecraft, it's kind of hard to be like, and they get big, it's like, you'll find any reason to hate. Like, I feel like if I got big, people would be like, well, he plays Splatoon, so... like, oh, you're so right, dude. You're so right. You got me so good, man. But yeah, when you get blown out of proportion, the tendency is for people who aren't a big fan. And, like, also, I will say, I'm throwing Taylor Swift in this. We're going way off base here. For Swifties, it's really easy if you're not a Swiftie to despise Swifties because they can be insufferable sometimes. It's like, yes, this music's fine, I like this, but comparing yourself, I don't even think I'm allowed to say that on stream. There was a tweet of them comparing them, like of a Swiftie comparing herself to a very marginalized group back in World War II. I'm sure you can tell where that's going. And like, when you've gotten to that level of, I don't even know what the word would be. Delusion, maybe. Like, no, you are not being treated that poorly. Like, yes, people are going to naturally not like things. People are going to like things. But if you are hardcore, diehard, I love this stuff, and everyone else has to love this, it can get really frustrating. Like, you see, one thing that I have, like, sometimes I know Twitter is not exactly the best place to be, like, ever. And yes, it is Twitter, it's not X. I stand by that. I could go into Elon, but that's a completely other conversation. But when you're, like, looking at stuff and it's like, there were some people who would go into, like, trending topics. So if, like, Splatoon was trending, I was like, oh, sweet, I want to see why Splatoon's trending. Hopefully it isn't, like, absolutely horrible. Usually it wasn't. But sometimes people would, like, essentially just view bot. They would type in all the words of trending things, and then they'd be like, go stream, insert K-pop album here. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, are you, like, a soldier? Are you being sent to war? Why are you selling this so hard? Like, I totally understand liking things. Like, I love things. I think everyone loves things. And I don't think it's bad at all to say, hey, this thing's great, you should go check it out. But when it gets to the level of, okay, I'm going to make such a big, like, commotion in order to get exposure for this. That's a good word. That just gets so frustrating. And so when Dream, like, it was basically just, it was hyped up constantly, and so then people naturally were like, okay, well, what do we think he's gonna look like? Okay, here's this leak of him in high school or whatever. Oh my gosh, he looks kind of weird, and he plays Minecraft, and that's kind of weird. I don't think it was received that poorly, but it was, like, kind of odd, and it was just it was a really easy fight to pick, because it was like, well, the dude plays Minecraft, and he looks kind of goofy, and he makes this music that's not fantastic. But then it's like, well, yeah, okay, but, like, I mean, just let, like, at least Taylor Swift is not a pedophile. That's what I'll say. I may not like Swifties very well, but they definitely have that one up. And I just hate it, like, when the fame gets to people and they're like, well, I can do whatever I want, and my target audience is children, and they are, I didn't expect to talk about this, so heavy topics, I guess, sorry. My target audience is children, which is fine, don't get me wrong, I can't make this, I don't know why I went for that. Your target audience is children, and they start to, like, really like you, and, like, you know, children are young, so they're they're gonna try to like find this personal connection with a person on the internet, which is not healthy. And so then when that person gives them that personal connection on the internet, they're just head over heels. Like, oh my gosh, my savior, John Dream, is actually talking to me. This is fantastic. Cardo, welcome back, good to see you. When they get that attention that they've been seeking from their idol, essentially, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, well, I'll do anything for this, right? And so then the power trip, the ego trip gets to their head. They're like, well, now I have this personal connection with this person, and I am starved for attention because I do not set boundaries for myself when it comes to interactions with my fans. Alright, then the bar is not set, and then things just get absolutely horrible, and then that's how, and then people are like, oh my gosh, I realized I was actually manipulated into being in a relationship with this YouTuber at a very young age, and that's not healthy. That sort of thing. Like, there's more to it, but that's like the psychoanalysis that I see. It's like, both parties are looking for attention, and then they are both receiving said attention in the worst possible way. Like, I think it's cool to go do these fan meetups and maybe, like, sign some stuff and say, like, oh, hey, good to meet you, and all that stuff, like, take a picture and whatever, but unfortunately, the unfortunate reality is I cannot, and most likely should not, ever have a personal connection with someone on YouTube. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, you can be great people, but when I know that it's a very tough line to tread for sure. But like I mean, I love talking to you guys and interacting with like comments and stuff. But if it's like, okay, you commented, you gave me attention, let me fly you out to where I'm living. Like, whoa, we've broken this parasocial barrier that is there for a reason. If I meet you in real life before you knew I had a YouTube, and then you come in the chat, like, great, awesome. And I don't want to say that like, oh my gosh, I'd never want to ever meet any of you guys in fear that I will be like get in an inappropriate relationship with you. That's not what I'm getting at. The point that I'm getting at is that the expectation has to be set that this is not going to go anywhere, because when you give your audience the idea that, oh, you know what, I can tie this into something else. When you go into like subbing on Twitch, and it's like, okay, I'm going to tier 3 sub to Pokimane and hope that she notices me. Like, whoa, okay, the parasocial barrier is being broken. You are asking for attention from someone who doesn't know that you exist, right? And trying to buy their way to love. I mean, that's just never gonna last, right? So the boundary does have to be set. If you want to make sure that you don't end up in these horrible situations like Dream and so many other YouTubers have fallen into very recently, you have to set that expectation of, I cannot force this connection that I've made with a viewer on the internet to go anywhere, right? And it's kind of hard to say that, because I wish I could be close to everyone that watched my videos. Like, sup, bro? What'd you think of the E-Leader video? Yeah, I know, right? Oh, what about the Dread Ringer video? That one's a banger. That sort of thing. I think that's hype. But I can maintain those conversations over the internet. I don't have to say, alright, I'm flying you to my 10-story mansion, which does not exist. I'm in a college apartment. And then, I don't know, getting philosophical while playing Mario Kart. That's just what I do, that's I think that's the healthiest way to, I could be a philosophy major, but instead I play Mario Kart and talk about my feelings. And I don't even think this is like a hot take. Like, I don't think the parasocial relationship should be forged into a personal one anyway, and that's usually what leads to these things being broken, as I have already reiterated the point 10 times. So I don't need to say it again, but you get it. So yeah, there's that. There's my outlook on that. And I still think it's okay to sub to creators as well, because showing your support, I mean, most YouTubers that are not super well known, unfortunately, don't make that much money. Like, I can't do this for a living because YouTube doesn't pay me a cent. But that's okay with me, because, my passion's, like, playing the games and editing them and making it fun, and then also, like, having a community that like, respects the same thing that I respect. So, like, people who like Nintendo stuff. Because, do you know how hard it is to find people who like Splatoon? It's pretty hard. Especially on, like, college campuses where people are mainly focused on getting their grades up and being active and doing good for society as a whole. Most people aren't like, I really need to boot up Splatoon 3 for the Nintendo Switch, released in 2023, right? No, 2022. Oh my gosh, I forgot. The game's more than a year old. Yeah. It'll turn 2 this year. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. I like smaller creators way more than... Yes, absolutely. I watch a dude, his name's Brian Grant. He does Marvel Contest of Champions. It's a mobile game that I'm really into. And the way he interacts with his chat is just way different. It's more of like a conversation rather than a, I'm talking at you, right? And am I gonna get 4th? What is going on? Oh no, we got two philosophical. Okay, I have to get my act up real soon if I want to win this. Let's just hope the thing's open. It is now open. Good. Mushroom, that's big. Okay, we gotta lock in. We gotta lock in right now. Give me rupees. I have no rupees. I am going. Okay, 3rd. This is very doable. This is very doable. Come on. Oh, this is it. It's over. Come on, you've got to be kidding me. Oh my gosh, that was the most unfortunate set of events. That's the first loss I've had all night. You're kidding. Dang. Alright. I can't even remember what I was talking about, man. What the heck? I wish if I had a replay feature, I'd go back and rewatch that. I'm not recording. I wish I was now. Okay, Brian Grant, yes. Brian Grant talks, like, to his audience, not at his audience. And a lot of people, like, ask him advice, and he gives advice. I think that's really cool. A lot of people, like, the community, when I think about it, like, let's just take, like, XQC, for example, or, like, Kaisenat, or, like, these big, like, when you think about people who are in the chat for those sort of things, their goal isn't to be a part of this community that is interacting with each other. Their goal is instead to get attention from the big wig that's on their screen. Ricardo, would you like to play? Yeah, I mean, why not? I might as well just open this up, right? Let me go ahead and... I don't know how to do this. This might be interesting. We can do, Is this how this works? This is just random, though, isn't it? I think it is. Oh, am I stuck? I'm not doing an online match. Oh, there's my recent games. There you go. I think I can do... Might just be with friends or something. If there's a way for me to do, what is it? Like Grand Prix, because that's my goal. I just want to get through all the races. I'm trying to think. Let's see here. If one of y'all knows how to do that, it might be a tournament. Let's see here. World is, yeah, public. This tournament's gonna be public too, but who cares? Where's the Inkling? There you are. What will it be? Nerd. That's not nerd. Frick. There we go. There we go. That should be good. Let's see here. 150, no teams, normal items. Yeah, that's fine. We'll put on hard com. Make it a little interesting. Fixed period, I guess. Oh, God. Okay, this is not at all what I thought it was. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I thought it would. It will not work. No, just get me out of here. There's gotta be a way to do this, right? But those are like active. I don't know, man. It's not regional either. That's something different. Yeah, if I could make a way for us to have, like, our own, like, little room, I would do it. Let me see if there's a way to do it. Because I know you can do that, like, local. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, we could do a friends race, actually. Well, but that's... You still have to do random stuff. Wait. This done like only turns to a card cut now. Yeah, that would still be random races. I don't think that's what I want to do. Oh, okay, there's a room. Okay, sweet. Oh, Ricardo, you're leaving. Well, it was good. It was good. Thank you for dropping by. Glad you could join. Had a great time. Can I click the thing? Okay. There we go. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'll try to stream again. We'll see. See what the plan is. Okay. We have a room code here. Join room. I guess that's tournament. Nope. Because that is only letters. Is that regional? No. OG Red, how do I... Am I not friends? Oh! This was what I was thinking of. Okay. H... R... G. Yeah, perfect. That worked great. What cup were we on? I can't remember. I think I could vote on specific maps. Probably. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yes, right. When you're looking at this big streamer, your goal isn't to be in part of this community that is, like, between each other. Your goal is to seek the attention of the big wig on the screen. But for smaller communities, it can be more of this, like, group, right? And I like that a lot more as well. Oh. Uh-oh. That might be on me. I'm going to try it one more time. If it doesn't work, then I'll make a room. I know the campus Wi-Fi is really weird. I also typed the thing in completely wrong. 7G. Yes, I'm in the room. Let's see if it works this time. Maybe, 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 maybe. If it doesn't work, I'll make my own room. Maybe that'll work. Oh, it says I'm here. Oh, that's good. Oh. I don't think I'm there. I think the stream's also wildly delayed. I'm gonna make one. And if that works, great. If it doesn't work, no biggie. Let me do this. Okay, there's the room code. I'm gonna pin it in chat. Wanna play? Y1BC. Okay, and we'll pin. Okay, there we go. So, hopefully this one works. We'll see. I don't really... This is not my expertise for sure. Searching. Hopefully this works. I know the campus Wi-Fi is really particular in the way it's set up. So I apologize if this doesn't work. And I would plug in Ethernet, but that's currently plugged into my computer so I can actually stream at a decent rate. If it doesn't work, just let me know. I apologize. So far, nothing. Oh, Australian Wi-Fi. Well, that might be interesting. Yeah. It didn't work. Dang. Okay. tomorrow I might be able to make something work. I would have to do some changing. I'm gonna go ahead and delete my thing so it doesn't. I don't want people to think, oh, I wanna go play. Yeah. I think I'm gonna try to stream again tomorrow, and then if it works, great. If it doesn't, no problem. But for now, I'll just keep going this way. But yes, small communities, I think they're way better as well. I have not played this one. I played this one. Okay. So, yeah, and I think the community that culminated through this has been really, really cool, in all honesty. A lot of the comments I've gotten, a lot of people like interested in the game. I remember one of the YouTube shorts I had that did really well. There was a comment, and this random dude was just like, people still play this game? I'm like, isn't that crazy, dude? So, I don't know. I completely agree. I think smaller communities are way more interesting. Not to say that big creators get big for a reason, right? And there's certainly a place for them. But yeah, I definitely find myself watching more videos that come from smaller creators. Enjoying stuff that comes from smaller creators more. Being more invested, like, with smaller creators live stream, like, it's more often that I'll show up, right? Like, I'm not like, okay, I gotta watch the XQC stream, or I don't even think Mr. B streams, but like, I'm not nearly as inclined to watch those big streamers as I am the ones that I know better and more familiar with. And you deserve so many more subs. Oh, thank you, the OG Red. I think someone told me, back when I first started, I should not have done that. It's not necessarily that it's like, okay, your content sucks, that's why you're not getting stuff. It's like, the grind to get bigger is slow because people essentially just have to figure out about you on their own through the YouTube algorithm or whatever. And then once you like start to get a couple subscribers, maybe you hit a couple K, you hit the big million, then you start kind of getting the word of mouth. Like, I'll tell people about some of the people I watch, you know, and then some of the people, it's like, oh yeah, I watched that person too, that's kind of crazy. It's cool that you think that. But at the beginning, you know, it's kind of like, what would be a good example? I love analogies. This one's going to be really bad, so just stand with me here. You're about to get on a treadmill, right? But the treadmill's already on, and it's on max speed. And so it's going to be really hard for you to go from standing still to getting on that treadmill. You've got a lot of things to figure out. How do you get on the treadmill the most efficiently? What do you do once you're on that treadmill? What does that look like? Are there people that can help you get on the treadmill better? Are there secrets about the treadmill that can either slow it down, that sort of thing? Finn, welcome to the live stream. This will be heavily delayed. I apologize. I should have streamed at a higher or lower latency. But yes, hi, good. Thank you for showing up in chat. I'm just in the middle of talking about like starting YouTube and what that's looked like for me. But yes, the treadmill analogy, now that I think about it, honestly isn't that bad. So once you get on that treadmill and you finally get up to speed, you can get up to the controls at the front and adjust it to how you want it. So when you have your big following, I don't know when that hits, maybe like 100K, that's when it's like, that's when you hit it big. Like, you'll probably never ever be satisfied with YouTube if all you're looking for constantly is numbers, right? But at some point, like, it's going to be a lot easier for you. You're going to have a dedicated fan base. People are going to watch you no matter what you do. Now I kind of have to make a name for myself, like, okay, I'm the Splatoon dude who's trying to get every weapon raw, right? And you know, that's kind of the thing. How are you? Thank you, Finn, for asking. I'm doing great. I'm in college. I just finished finals. Summer is about to begin for me. I'm going to go on a trip. Whole reason I'm playing Mario Kart is to practice for a competition on said trip. So that should be really fun. Yeah, we're just kind of hanging out, you know, shooting the breeze, talk about whatever. But where was I? And this is the worst blue shell of all time. That is just fine and dandy. Yes. So, yeah, once I, quote, get on the treadmill, right? I think I'll have a much easier time. But instead of focusing on the numbers, the thing I've been trying to focus on is, like, am I happy with the content that I'm making? Like, is it fun? Are people finding it enjoyable? Am I finding it enjoyable? Like, am I putting in time to make it look good, to make it sound good? That sort of thing. Like, am I putting my best foot forward? Not... Are my... I don't know. Well, like... It's more qualitative rather than quantitative, right? Is my quality good rather than are my numbers good? Because inevitably, I'm going to post something that I really, really like, and this has happened before, so I'm not going to say inevitably, like, this has happened. I'm going to post something I really like, put a lot of time into, and it's just going to underperform. Like, that's the sad reality of it, you know? When I base things on, are my numbers good, I will constantly be disappointed. If I base things on, is my quality high, am I happy for what I'm producing, that's what's important to me, at least right now. Like, eventually, like, if I make this a living on a miracle, that'd be great. That'd be awesome, right? Then I'd be more hard pressed for numbers. But right now, it's more just like, are the people that I like, are they showing up? Well, that sounds horrible. Am I cultivating this community that I'm happy with, or things like that? Am I happy with the quality of my videos? Because then when a video performs well, awesome, great, I'm so happy, and I wasn't expecting that, you know? When I'm constantly chasing after these numbers, that's when it gets really, really iffy. And so even though I'm not a big YouTuber by any means, just remember to, like, set your expectations. Like, at the gate, it is very, very rare that you're just gonna blow up, right? And you can chase all the trends you want. You can make these long-form video essays. I mean, I think you should, because video essays are awesome. That perform really well because people are interested in video essays. Or you can go the YouTube Shorts route and just do, like, take Family Guy clips and make that work. But if you aren't happy doing it, why are you doing it in the first place? To get money? Like, if you're putting this much time and effort into YouTube to try to make money, like, oh my gosh, why? there are so many better options. This really has to be a passion project. It can't be I foresee this going in the way that I will be able to pay my bills and make my family happy and have this, like, big family that I can afford and we can go on vacations every year. Like, if that's the mindset that you're coming into it with, oh my gosh, I hope that you reconsider. Because if you put the amount of time that you'd have to put into YouTube into, like, a degree or a normal job, that's gonna be, you're just gonna be more profitable in the long run. But if this is something that you really enjoy and you find videography or filmmaking or editing or playing video games for fun, like, some people, you know, their editing isn't good at all, but it's their personality that really stands out, and that's great. Like, whatever it takes, man. I like to be a good mix of both, like, the way I carry my videos and my voice, but also, like, I just want to, like, play games and do games I want to. An arbitrary challenge, back when I started YouTube, that was, like, the big thing. You know, like, Small Ant was pretty big, and, like, how can I make this simple game arbitrarily hard, right? And so it's like, don't touch the ground, or don't jump, or can I beat this game without getting any points? Like, that was big, and I love that content. And so I kind of, like, I don't think getting every weapon to raw is an arbitrary challenge by any means. But, you know, it's like, that's something I can define myself by, right? Like, I'm the dude who's trying to get every weapon to raw, you know? And, you know, I don't really see anyone else doing that, and I think that's fun, and I enjoy that, and it's a quantitative goal that I can reach. It's not like, okay, yeah, it's unique. I agree, OG Red. It's something different that people don't really... Oh, also, Finn, I missed your comment. My name is Noah. Go check out the YouTube channel. I do Splatoon stuff. Or if you like Mario Kart stuff, there's a Mario Kart video way down the line. But, oh, well, that's unfortunate. But, yeah, what was I? I was yapping for a while. I can't even remember. Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door's in the chat. Oh my gosh. Can't even believe you're getting a remaster. Your game looks great, man. Very, very excited for that. And thanks for stopping by. We're just playing Mario Kart, having fun. Feel free to the whole game join the chat. Feel free to throw anything in the chat that you want, or just kind of. I'm just going through courses, trying to get ready for a competition. But yes, yeah, I find remake, not remaster. You're right. I find way more joy in making content that I'm proud of and getting this community that I really like, rather than chasing the numbers. I don't think anyone asked me like, oh, what's your, like, how do you make a YouTube channel? Like, if your goal was to make a YouTube channel and money was all that was going through your head, I would strongly recommend you reconsider. It is definitely, and like some people are gonna make, it's like professional sports. Like, you grow up and you play football for middle school, and you're like, wow, this is fun. I'm great at this. Your chances of actually making it into the NFL are very low. And yes, you can put in the time, the hours, and there's still a chance that you just get beat out by some other person. Like, that's just the way some of this stuff works. Like, it's not consistent at all. But that's okay. Like, maybe eventually your video does blow up, and you do get a good community, and you get a ton of subscribers, and you do get paid for this. Great, awesome. Just remember that can't be the only reason, right? I would love it if the I would love it if this magically started making money for me. I think that'd be great. I'm almost 10% there. I'm missing 906 subscribers as of the last time I checked. But again, like, my mindset isn't, okay, I need to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can make money. And my mindset is, let's make awesome content that people really like, and then the subscribers will follow, right? The fruit of the labor, you know, reap what you sow. If you have a corrupt mindset the entire time, your chances of doing well are not gonna be great. 14 years ago till 2000. Yes, is that right? I think the games usually come out on Friday, so that probably would be right. Yeah. So 2 weeks. That's kind of crazy, honestly. It looks really good. When I was younger, my parents were kind of strict on like what I could expose myself to, which I'm very grateful for. But often that meant, like, I used to watch Chugga Conroy, which now is, you know, distasteful, but, you know, that's just what I grew up on. And my parents weren't a fan of cursing, so usually I'd either watch it with like no audio, or just like watch it like separate from them, because I don't want them to be like, oh my gosh, she's watching the cursing dude. Like, honestly, it wasn't that bad, and it was infrequent. But then I figured out about, it comes out on Thursday. Oh, I thought most Nintendo games came out on Friday. I must be mistaken. I haven't gotten what was the last Nintendo game I got? Tears of the Kingdom? Might have been. Dave the Diver, but that wasn't made by Nintendo. But I found I didn't know, like, how to, I tried to look up YouTube channels that, like, just played the game and didn't talk. I didn't realize that the category was considered no commentary. I didn't know what commentary meant at the time. But I found a no commentary playthrough of the entirety of the Thousand Year Door. I was like, sure, I'll watch this. And so I did. And I was like, wow, this game's awesome. But I never got to play it for myself. I only watched the entire playthrough. So would I probably enjoy it? Yeah, probably. I might drop into some Thousand Year Door. We'll see. I don't know. The game's probably really expensive on GameCube. I couldn't even play it. My Wii's busted. I can only play Wii games on the Wii U. Can I beat you on Mario Kart, Finn? There's probably a decent chance that you can. I tried, because of the way my university's internet is set up, I can't do online play with you guys right now. I'm gonna attempt to stream in the morning and try to redo it. Redo the internet on my Switch, so I might be able to make that work. But for now, I will leave it at just me doing this, and then we'll try to get that fixed in the morning. But it would require, I don't know what I'd have to do. It'd be a mess. Because I don't really know how the university internet works. Currently on Chapter 2. Chapter 2 of the Thousand Year Door. it's been, how many years has it been since I watched that playthrough? Probably like 10. A decade since I've seen it, so. But, I mean, yeah, I think the game looks incredible. And especially the, what did we say it was? Thousand Year Door remake, yes. Definitely, yeah, it definitely is a remake. Like, that thing looks completely different, like, from the ground up. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Also, ooh, you know what we could get into? Frame rates. What's my opinion on frame rates in games? Do tell, do tell. Okay. Hot take. Not hot take at all. I think this is actually the more common take. It's just the people who are really loud on the internet have this opposite take. My hot take is that people should not care as much about frame rates. Like, we've been so exposed to high frame rates, and people are like, well, it gives you a competitive edge in video games, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, you get it. You understand. But why do we care so much? Like, other than competitive edge and it looks silky smooth, all that stuff. When deep down, I think it's more important that artistic intent is being displayed well. You know? So, the example that I use a ton. I am a big Spider-Man guy. I love Spider-Man. If you go to some of my old videos, you can see some of my Spider-Man merch. Maybe I'll do a room tour for my 1,000 subscriber special or 100 subscriber, who knows. But, big Spider-Man guy. I love Spider-Man. And when Into the Spider-Verse came out, I watched it, and I was like, well, this is absolutely incredible. Incredible movie. I didn't really get it until the second time around, just like Breath of the Wild. I didn't really understand Breath of the Wild until the second time around. I did not understand Spider-Man until the second time around. But then I really dug deep into, like, wow, this movie was really set apart. Like, look at the animation style. Nothing else is really doing this. Everything else is just going for this Disney Pixar stuff, which we've been doing for over a decade. Like, we can do better than this. I thought it was absolutely incredible, and that was one of the catalysts sparking my love for Spider-Man, was that movie. And Across the Spider-Verse is just as good, maybe even better. I'd say better, personally. I think I'm going to go watch the concert. But enough about Spider-Man, that's kind of off topic. The point that I'm trying to make is, on YouTube there was the video, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in 60 frames a second. And what's the technique that they use? They have a technique for it, like AI, not upscaling. Refactor? No. There's a method that an AI essentially goes through and adds in frames, for, like, just procedurally generates frames that tries to add stuff in. And man, it's just like, golly, at the time I didn't really see the issue with it, right? Like, you look at it and you're like, oh, it is silky smooth, but then you like pay close attention, you're like, this looks ugly. This looks really ugly. Because the computer just does not do the same interpolation, that's what it's called. The computer cannot interpolate stuff like a human can, right? The human brain is naturally going to see these things, and, like, we can write the in-between, we can draw the in-between. And when we want to make Miles Morales punch really hard, we're going to put him in 12 frames a second instead of 24, and he's going to look inexperienced and really choppy. And that's the artistic intent behind it, and it looks incredible. And you just completely run over that with a trailer and with a train. Completely not only destroy the artistic intent, but like, oh my gosh. Oh, what? Okay. Oh my gosh, not even the iframes could save me there. What happened, man? I was doing so well. Okay, I guess it's gonna be my second place of the night. I apologize. I mean, all things considered, in 2 hours, 23 minutes, and only having 2 second places, that's not bad. Back to what I was saying. It was in 60 frames a second, it looked ugly. And so then that sparked the conversation, is 60 frames a second in games necessary? And there are two sides of the coin. One, you have the FPS heads that want the competitive advantage, and I totally understand. Having higher frames per second in an FPS game, or a game that requires high reaction times against other people, if you can be put at an unfair advantage if you don't have those high frame rates. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I play games at 120 frames per second on my PS5. That's just the way it be. But in a lot of scenarios, just because it has a higher frame rate, like, Okay, no, not even that. Making the claim that every game needs to be at 60 frames a second is just hilariously outdated. And most of the people who are saying that are people who are like, yes, I play these competitive games at 60 frames a second, just looks better, and I can see 60 frames, blah, 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 all this stuff. 30 frames a second just looks too choppy. Man, where did we go wrong? Now, when games are running at core frame rate, there again, two sides of the coin with lower frame rates. There's the games that are like, these games look gorgeous, and they're being capped at 30 frames a second to ensure that they run consistently well on the hardware. And yes, Switch hardware is outdated. I don't think I need to tell you that. If you have to make your game play at 30 frames a second, alright, so be it. As long as it stays at that 30 frames a second consistently, that's okay. When you get your Pokemon Scarlet and Violet issues coming up, yes, I can't really fight for that. I still love the game though. It's still my favorite game in the series because it plays so fun. Horribly, but so fun. But the yes, OG Red makes a good point. It's like, if you're not at a competitive disadvantage because of a low frame rate, it's not really that important. And honestly, some games look better in lower frame rates because of artistic intent. Like, the game creators knew that it was going to look good in this frame rate, or they knew that the hardware that it was going to be put on could not handle this high of frame rate, so instead we're going to cap it at this frame rate to make sure it looks consistent. And consistency is, in my opinion, way better than trying to shoot for these high-brow 60 frames a second goals. Like, honestly, what am I even trying to get at? Like, games on the Switch are not going to run fantastically, right? And there's a decent chance on the Switch too they aren't going to run perfectly. Alright. Also, we're on to the DLC tracks. That's a pretty big deal. There's a decent chance that they're not going to run fantastic. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just the hardware's like not great. But when you look at it, like, let's just look at the current state of gaming and the big three. You know, the quote unquote the big three consoles, right? You have the PlayStation 5, runs 120 frames a second. You have the Xbox Series X and Series S, they do the same thing. And then you have the Nintendo Switch. Looking past numbers, and we know that Switch games are doing fairly well, and the Switch console is selling extremely well, right? And Mario Kart is honestly selling way more than anyone would ever expect. When we look past those things, let's just look at the type of games that are being put out on these consoles. You have Nintendo. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna say Nintendo for last because, you know, I gotta keep that big reveal. PlayStation games. Again, I love Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man Miles Morales. I love Spider-Man 2. I love it. I adore those games a ton. But if you told me that this game was completely unique and special in comparison to every other PlayStation Studios game, I would laugh at you very, very hard. Because think about all the PlayStation games PlayStation IP that's come out in the last decade with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. Horizon Zero Dawn. What kind of game is Horizon Zero Dawn? It's a open world action-adventure game, third-person, heavy reliance on cutscenes, and yeah. Okay, that's fine. I think that kind of series is great, and you know, you can tell. This was also, I talked about the arrows earlier in the stream. Those are the arrows I was talking about, but that's fine. You can have this big cinematic game. That's cool. We're fine. I'm gonna drop that. And so that's cool. Okay, let's look at another one. Uncharted. Okay, it's roughly the same thing. It's not open world, but we're third-person, highly cinematic. You know, the gameplay is not the most important thing about this game. Like, the cinematics are what a lot of what people get out of this game. Alright, that's fine. We can have two franchises. And then you start to think about it. God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, like, all of these games. I'm sure I'm missing a couple. Like, even Ratchet and Clank. They all rely on this idea that gamers only want to watch a movie. Who said that? Who is coming? I mean, I guess this kind of goes hand in hand with this high frame rate. Like, people are so picky about the games that they play, and they'll only buy like this guaranteed success. And it's this perpetual cycle, and Xbox is the same way. I think Xbox does a great job at promoting diversity, but of course, they axe the companies that they buy out to make diverse games. If you didn't know, the Tango Studios or whatever I feel bad not knowing the company name now that I'm talking about it. But the people who made Hi-Fi Rush, which looks like an incredible game and would be one of the only 2 reasons I'd buy an Xbox. And it performed really well for being an indie game that came out of nowhere, launched the same day it was announced, all this stuff looks absolutely gorgeous, plays like a dream. They killed the studio. What? In favor for these big budget games that all do the same exact thing? Oh my gosh. It's just... It's frustrating. And that's why I look to Nintendo, and Nintendo is not making perfect decisions either, don't get me wrong. But, like, I think they do a great job at, like, they have these indie showcases that showcase these games that, you know, otherwise wouldn't get much sunlight. Or, you know, the Nintendo Direct show off the 15th farming game, but that, you know, that reminds you that, oh my gosh, there's so much diversity. Like, I'm playing a kart racer. What kart racers can you play on, what kart racer can you play on PlayStation? That's actually a good question. I don't know if there is a good one out right now. And then Xbox, you have, like, the hyper-realistic sports cars games. Cool. I mean, the diversity when it comes to these big games, it's because the game companies, like sans Nintendo, are thinking, okay, we can only make sequels to pre-existing properties because we know that they're going to make money. So we'll pour in a ton of money and make these really big, nice-looking cutscenes that we put in the trailers and the people will buy the game, right? But we can't afford to make these smaller games. I think Helldivers is a great example of what the game industry could be going for because, and PlayStation still manages to screw it up by attempting to require them to sign into the PlayStation account. That's neither here nor there. But, like, the idea that the only games that will succeed are previously known IPs that have these big fancy cutscenes. Like, golly, that is going to kill gaming eventually because these games are not cheap to produce. Spider-Man 3, when the Insomniac leak came through, $325 million or something like that. Oh my gosh, that's honestly insane. And again, the game's incredible, and I love it. It feels almost like it's missing a little bit of the heart that the original had, but again, I'm not here to talk about Spider-Man. But the idea that the only games that can survive on the market are these ginormous AAA games, or in Ubisoft's idea, quadruple A games, that are just junk. They get absolutely nothing accomplished, do absolutely nothing new for the industry, while these indie games, like, think about a lot of the games that have been popular lately, Lethal Company, Helldivers, a lot of games that have blown up on the internet, are these small indie games that cost like 10, 20 bucks. Those are the ones that are performing well right now. I think that's perfect. I think out of all the times that should be happening, right now is great, because yes, there is a place for these big AAA, quadruple A games, if you really want to say that. I think that's honestly a curse word in my opinion. Quadruple A games, like, just don't even mutter that around me. There's a place for those games, absolutely. But when your company is solely relying on those games to draw on a profit, like, unfortunately, the sad truth is, you're gonna have to take risks with some of these games to, like, because where would we be if we were only, like, think about the PlayStation 2 ages when games were thriving. Where would we be if all of those games were, Skull and Bones, yes, Skull and Bones is comedic, man. When all these AAA games, like, okay, in the PS2 era, where would we be if every single game was just a sequel to a previously known IP? We would have absolutely none of the stuff that we have now. Like, obviously Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, all that stuff still exists, a lot of the PS2 stuff exists. But, like, Uncharted didn't come out in the PS2 ages. Like, a lot of these successful things didn't come out because they were a sequel to a previously known IP. And I'm saying this playing the 8th Mario Kart game. I know this is painfully ironic, so hear me out. But, yeah, it's just like, seeing the games industry, like the big games industry for like the PS5 and the Xbox, seeing all the stuff that's going on there. Really disappointing, honestly. But Nintendo's coming through, and again, Nintendo's not perfect, but they're making these games that are, you know, innovative and doing something different, and I have mad respect for that. And they're promoting games that, wow, Coconut Mall, oh my god, you just got Coconut Mall. But they're promoting games that are doing something different, and I have a lot of respect for that. And their goal isn't to make these big billion-dollar blockbuster games. It's just to make good games. And yeah, they may not run perfectly, and they may not look the best in comparison to the competition, but like, come on. Like, you gotta admit, like, I feel like, what's a good example here? I think Splatoon 3 has a lot more heart and personality than most other things that AAA companies have pushed out recently. It's so unique, and you can get fully involved in this crazy, unique world. But I feel like I should pick out something that isn't just a pre-existing IP. Golly, it's a shame that I can't do that. Let me think. Yeah, okay. I lose this argument, but you get the point that I'm making. Like, the amount of variety that is on Nintendo consoles is consistently higher than on others. I'm playing as a squid driving a car in a mall, in a fictitious mall. Like, come on. And I just love that. And I love how indie games are being supported a lot more recently. Like, Hades 2 outsold the original game in one day. I think it was what the headline was. Great, because you can tell, and again, a sequel, I know, but like a relatively indie studio making something that looks absolutely gorgeous and plays well and doesn't rush a product that comes out half broken. And maybe, I guess part of the reason why a lot of people can be cautious towards new games is they don't want another Cyberpunk. It's like, oh my gosh, this game has been in the oven for 7 years. It's literally going to save my marriage. No. I don't know where we got this idea. And I mean, eventually they fixed it. Pulled a No Man's Sky and brought it back from the dead. So, all that to say, I think the current state of video games is on the cusp of something really, really good, because the AAA companies are going to realize these big games are not sustainable in the slightest. We've got to go somewhere else. And so I'm hoping a lot more indie games get a lot more popular. And, I mean, like, when Lethal Company outsold the, I'm blanking. When it outsold the most recent COD game, like, I think that's a victory. That's huge. It's awesome. Because, like, COD, Activision, Sledgehammer, they've just been cranking out the same stuff over and over. And again, not inherently a bad thing, but when we aren't going anywhere with the industry, and I don't know. Okay. Yep, see, there's the Lakitu thing I was talking about. Anyways. Whoa. Okay. Well, have I played on this map yet? I think I went in the wrong order, honestly. Okay. Let's get through here. Okay. Where? There's a reason why I'm doing this live stream, guys. Oh, golly. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm familiar with this map. And this is from Tour, I believe. But, you know, we'll get there. We'll get there. Take that Inkling girl. Bye-bye. Yes. Okay. Nope, not good. Okay. Anyways. Yes, current state of gaming, I think, is on the cusp of something really good. It's just got to get there first. And it might be a couple years, honestly. But I'm hoping that we'll continue to get these big indie wins. Because, again, these big AAA games that just do absolutely nothing, it's not sustainable at all. So I'd love to see some innovation for sure. Oh my god. We got 1 coin. I'm struggling a little bit. We're gonna make this work. We're gonna make it work. Okay. Coin here. Good. I'll wait to grab another one when the time comes. Hi, Toad. Thank you for the mushroom. It's crazy how some of these maps go, like, back and forth on each other, like, in the same lap. I think that's a really cool idea. Oh, look at all the flowers. Okay. Anyways, we need a new topic to talk about. I've talked about gaming for a while. What is there to talk about? I guess, okay, so the Switch 2 got, like, officially announced in a Nintendo Direct in June. I can kind of talk about some things I'd be interested in for that. I guess that's a good idea. Okay. So Switch 2, there's been a lot of leaks. A lot of people have been really interested in it. Yes, I will pre-order it. That's my plan. I want it day one. Maybe I can do, like, an impressions video or something. But, you know, I'm a big Nintendo stan. If I bought a Wii U, I'm gonna buy a Switch 2, you know? Like, that's just... And I find that a lot of the games on the Switch I enjoy more than a lot of the games that I play with my friends. I think the one thing that the Switch struggles with is it can't replace your PlayStation, right? Like, if we exclude exclusives, which I feel like we can because... Well, we can't really because that's where Nintendo has the big upper hand, right? If you want to play the big AAA game, like multiplayer games, like I'm thinking like Fortnite or Apex or, you know, like these games that are on the console but run suboptimally by a lot, you can't really say, oh, I don't need a PlayStation because my Switch can play these games. Like, yes, I can, but it's to a degree that's just not good enough. Like, you arguably will not enjoy yourself. I think if the Switch 2 has the DLSS technology like they say it will, which is like AI upscaling, and usually I'm against AI, don't get me wrong. This is like different kind of AI in comparison to stealing jobs from people kind of AI. This is making your computer chips work way better AI. So it gets a thumbs up from me. But if the new chip does utilize it like a lot of the leaks have said, that's incredible because the way that stuff works, you can natively run a game at really low resolution. So like let's imagine I'm playing Mario Kart here, and the game runs at 540p, which is pretty freaking bad, right? That's what I think The Witcher runs at 540p or something like that, and so it looks pretty atrocious. But with AI upscaling, you're able to take that to 1080p with basically no chip stress at all. So yeah, I mean, that could be a game changer for the Switch. OG Red, heading off. Good stream. Catch you tomorrow, sweet OG Red. It was good to get to talk with you. I'm trying to think of when I'm going to stream. I have a lunch, but I think the game plan, I'll probably stream after said lunch. So I don't know what time that would be in Australia. So it'll probably be, mid-afternoon for me, so if you're going to bed right now, it would probably be like early afternoon, I would assume. Yeah, that should be about right. So, but yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. It's good getting to hang out for sure. Where was I? Yeah, Switch 2. If it has DLSS, like honestly, they could do anything else with the console. It won't really matter. Truly, like, it's gonna be good. Either way. So, looking forward to that. I'm hoping that it does utilize that technology, because they can, like, I know Nintendo has the capability of doing these really good exclusives, so I'm not nervous about that. It's just like the tech that's lacking, and I don't need this to be the big AAA killer. Like, this can run everything. This could be more efficient than your computer. Yada yada yada. That's not what's important to me. Again, the games and the fact that it can run those games well. That's what matters. And for the most part, the Switch can do that with a lot of the Switch exclusives. And so it's not an issue, typically. But now we're getting to the point, the games are getting so high quality. Like, I'm thinking like Tears of the Kingdom. Game's absolutely incredible. It's capped at 30 frames a second. Good, it needs to be. But it still runs relatively poorly, right? And that's with all the Nintendo magic and the extra Nintendo, like, they gave it an extra year to sit in the oven, thank goodness. Like, I know we wanted this game for 3 years, probably. But I'm definitely glad that they decided to give it a little extra time. It definitely needed it. But man, like, if they can get a Switch that has the capabilities to run these big league games decently enough, and can also manage to make good games for it, like, I don't need anything else. Like, we could have another Wii U situation for all I care. If it can play games well, I still want it to be portable, obviously. And it can be, you know, it can, I don't know, I don't need this thing to have a 4090 in it, you know? That's kind of the mindset that I'm going into it with. Okay. And then Magnetic Joy-Con is another one of the leaks. I don't know what I think about that, honestly. I love the Joy-Con. Currently, my right Joy-Con does not work at all. I mean, okay, it works, but you cannot take it off of the Switch and use it separately. That's kind of dumb. I think that's stupid. So I hope that they find a way to fix the drifts, fix some of the connectivity issues. I think Magnetic's cool. It could work out really well. I don't know. There's just a lot of questions I have, a lot of stuff up in the air. But yes, I just need this thing to run games, like PS4 games, fine. And I'll be happy, because the Switch can run PS4 level games, like I'm counting like Fortnite and Apex as a PS4 level game. It can run it fine. If it can run 1080 60 frames, I'm mad happy. If it can run any game 1080 60 frames for like competitive stuff, awesome. I don't need 120 frames on the Switch too, you know? Maybe the DLSS will have that capability. I don't know. It's not something I think there's ways to inflate the amount of frames it can run, but I think what Nintendo should focus on more instead of frames is like just making their games look pretty. Like, look at this. This stage looks fantastic, honestly. I really like this one. I can get behind like the game's just looking mad solid, and as long as they run at a consistent frame rate, sweet, I'm happy. You know, I cannot be mad. I would also hope that, I mean, the idea is that it's going to be backwards compatible. And I don't think anyone's really saying, oh no, that's not going to happen. Having upgrades to previous Switch games, like being able to play Tears of the Kingdom at a solid frame rate, even if that solid frame rate is 30, sweet. I think that's great. I mean, the game stutters quite a bit, and it's fine. Like, the game is still very playable, but, you know, I would appreciate it not running absolutely horribly. And it doesn't. And Nintendo has the Nintendo magic that they put into each of their games that they're gonna run fine. Like, this game looks gorgeous, runs at a full 60, even on the handheld. It's a miracle that they make that happen. I don't know how they do it. And so, here's the TLDR. I just need something that the Nintendo developers are able to utilize. That runs well, that they don't really have to compromise to put stuff into their game. Like, think about Mario Wonder and the amount of, like, fun stuff that has in it. They just gave the developers the time of day. They got to do whatever they want. And that's awesome. And so, as long as there is something, a piece of hardware that allows the developers to be able to do what they want to do, perfect. I think that's the most important thing. Alright, we just finished this one. It is 1:12 a.m. I've got to be up, I mean, not like early in the morning, but had a great stream. Had a lot of awesome people show up. I'm super, super happy that y'all showed up. Be back tomorrow. Hopefully, that's the plan. We'll see if I actually make it happen. But yeah, it's late. I'm gonna call it a night. But yeah, for the first live stream, I'm very happy with this. I think it was great. So, good getting to talk with some of y'all. See y'all on the flip side. Be sure to watch Road to Raw. Yeah, see y'all.